Frequency Radio Network. We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Culture. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Again, we still got those audio problems, but as always, we'll do our best. It is December 6th, 2023. There were a number of big headlines, but the one that's overshadowing all of them at this moment is the latest mass shooting on a college campus. Today it's reported that 3 are dead and 1 person is in critical condition, so there could be a 4th fatality after an unnamed shooter. They still haven't put out any information about the shooter, but an unnamed shooter attacked University of Nevada, Las Vegas, the campus in Las Vegas. If you've caught the headlines today, they've been comparing it to the tragedy that happened October 1st, 2017, the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting while Jason Aldean was performing. Of course, in that shooting, they said 58 people were killed. And as we talked about then, it was 58 days from the governor's birthday, and his birthday was the 5th day of the 8th month. Well, now Las Vegas, 67 days from today, will host Super Bowl 58. And as we know, that's a special number. You know, you look into history, that number's all over the place, going back to King James, the Freemason and Rosicrucian who died unexpectedly at age 58. And with regards to him being in those secret societies, of course, you have the Fraternal Order of Police, and today the police pretty mum on details. You might recall after the Vegas shooting, they had to rewrite the entire storyline and timeline of events. It's like, okay, what's going on here? It's like you go back and look, they had to reinvent the timeline of the events several times, and you just thought, how's that possible? How can they not know what the story is? Why does the story keep changing? But yeah, there's a lot of things that are interesting about today's mass shooting and that it occurred on this day. We'll get to why it matters that it's 322 weeks from the Las Vegas shooting and why it matters that Yale is 322 years old, where Order 322 is out of. Again, Order 322 responsible for so many things in this nation, including American football, if you didn't know that. Yeah, well, we're going to bring it all together. Famous scene in a Batman film, the stadium explodes, and you see Section 322 right before the stadium erupts. And we've been talking about the film Black Sunday that Hollywood put out in 1977 about a Palestinian terrorist group attacking the Super Bowl. And you just wonder, could this narrative that's been foreshadowed in so many ways over so many years, could it eventually play out? Like we've seen in other Hollywood predictive programming. What was once fiction becomes reality. But let's go through this detail by detail. We'll talk about why it matters that the University of Nevada, Las Vegas was established September 10th, 1957, which means it just celebrated its 66th birthday, the campus where this happened today. And also noteworthy is that since they're comparing this to the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting, its anniversary, the 6th anniversary of the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting passed this year, October 1st, 2023. That was the 6th anniversary. And today is 66 days after that anniversary. So it's 6 years and 66 days since the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. And recall, the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting happened on the day leaving 91 days left in the year. And that's interesting because 91 is the 13th triangular number, which means if you add 1 through 13 together, it equals 91. And Revelation 13 is about the beast. It's in the 66th book of the Bible. In Gematria, number of the beast equals 66. What else is interesting is so does mass shooting. So again, you have this mass shooting at UNLV shortly after the campus's 66th birthday and 66 days after the anniversary of, again, the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. Furthermore, Nevada is the 36th state in order of statehood. Delaware's the first, Hawaii's the 50th, Nevada's the 36th. But from Nevada's birthday, which is Halloween, from October 31st, Nevada's birthday, to today is 36 days later. 36 days later. And again, 666 is the 36th triangular number, which means if you add 1 through 36 together, it equals 666. Also, again, as we just mentioned, the Route 91 thing, 91 is the 13th triangular number, whereas 666 is the 36th triangular number. But again, Revelation 13 about the beast in 666. Now, here's what else is interesting. The state was established in 1864 on Halloween. So that means this year on Halloween, the state turned 159 years old, okay? 159. And notice, in Gematria, mass shooting, we just talked about how it equals 66. That's the small way using numerology. The big way, mass shooting equals 159. Funny enough, New Testament also equals 159. And of course, the New Testament concludes with Revelation, where you learn about 666. And the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, they also have the 159 connection. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, the secrets are largely based in the Bible. So, again, it's biblical with the 666. It's, as we'll get to, it's 322 weeks from the shooting, which is also biblical because Genesis 3:22 at the very beginning mentions the tree of life and knowing good and evil. And again, the Kabbalistic tree of life has 3 pillars and 22 paths. And it has a good half and an evil half. And this whole thing of letters and numbers relates to Kabbalah. So okay, we've established the 6 year. Oh, one other piece about this. Grand Theft Auto, right? When these shootings have happened in the past, if you watch the talking heads on TV, they'll bring up things like, video games and Grand Theft Auto and fantasies of killing, innocent people. Remember, Grand Theft Auto 6, the trailer just released, and they used the music of Tom Petty, who had died exactly 322 weeks before that trailer released. But remember, Tom Petty died the day after the Las Vegas shooting, and he died at age 66. And Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers equals 317, which is the 66 prime number. So Tom Petty, 66, 6 years later, his music, if I didn't say so, in this Grand Theft Auto trailer they just put out, this trailer for this huge video game that's expected to sell $10 billion, they're saying, when it comes out. First trailer for it, Tom Petty's music. And Rockstar Games makes Grand Theft Auto. And, of course, Tom Petty, a rock star. But now, right after this, a Las Vegas mass shooting and very familiar numbers. And if I didn't say so, again, the campus just turned 66 years old. It's 66 days today from the anniversary of Route 91. And again, in Gematria, the small way mass shooting equates to 66. And the big way, it equates to 159, and the campus just turned 159 years old. Or the state did, excuse me. The state just turned 159 years old on Halloween. And Halloween's such an interesting day, right? It's the date of Martin Luther penning the 95 Theses in the beginning of the Protestant Reformation, which has to do with the establishment of this nation. But anyhow, the campus, which just turned 66, its establishment date is September 10th, which can be written 10/9, like 109, the 10th day of the 9th month. And in Gematria, University of Nevada, Las Vegas equates to 109. So does shooting, so does military. And additionally, if you measure from the state's birthday to today, as we mentioned, it is 36 days later. If you counted the full span of days, you could say it's the 37th day of the state's age, or it's 36 days after its birthday. But if you count it that way, the 37th day of the state's age, remember in Gematria, for the person who's new here, there are 4 numerical values for every word. And as you learn, the 4 numerical values are all based on the alphabetic order. And they're all essential to understand to see the rituals. So, for example, the word shooting with the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. You add up the letters of shooting. S would be the 19th letter. H would be the 8th. O would be the 15th. Shooting equates to 107. You take the alphabetic order with numerology. You apply numerology to each letter based on the alphabetic order. You get a smaller number. If you do it that way, shooting equals 44 instead of 107. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Z is 1 back to A is 26. Shooting equates to 109. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse numerology, shooting equals 37. So you have this shooting in Nevada on the 37th day of the state's age on a Wednesday. And just like how shooting equals 37 and 44, so does Wednesday. And you might recall the ritual they did with the actress who portrayed Wednesday from the Addams Family, the original, how she died shortly after the big hit Netflix came out, called Wednesday. Focused on that character. But yeah, this is nothing new either. I mean, we've seen this same pattern a million times. That's why we talk about the 2 days of the week that we see the most mass shootings on are Wednesday and Saturday. And Saturday doesn't equate to 37 and 44 like shooting and Wednesday, but Saturday does equate to 107 and 109 like shooting, and also like military. And so often these former shooters, when they do put out the information, they're former military. That's a very consistent pattern, but not always. And today, they're not saying anything. They're just saying the shooter's dead. They're saying 3 dead, 1 in critical condition, and nothing on the shooter. But they made sure the whole nation knows about it so the politicians can get on and already start putting out their tweets and their talking points about, enough's enough, it's time to do something. It's like the real conversation needs to be, okay, the 21st century, the end of the 20th century with Columbine, what has changed in the world in this time that's made mass shootings at schools and public places a common thing? Again, the things, it's funny with regards to Grand Theft Auto. That's like when the first Grand Theft Auto game came out, I think, was 99. Or there might have been one that came out before it, but I just remember people like getting that for the video game system. It wasn't 3D, it was like from above, but it was even popular back then. I was in high school. It was the 3D. The 3D one came out when I was in college. I just remember like everybody and their mom bought that game, and they were playing it too. And I was like, I can't remember if it came out just before 9/11 or just after, but it's all around the same time. It might have been just before, actually. Go back and double check. But anyway, I mean, you could say that one thing that's changed in the world is like more violent, realistic video games that like do fulfill the fantasy of just murdering innocent people. I don't remember a video game series like that before Grand Theft Auto. Obviously, the bigger thing is pharmacies are everywhere and everybody's on drugs. That started to change in the mid-'90s, and then what was it, when Bush came in office, he rolled back the law so then the pharmaceutical companies could advertise on TV. They banned cigarette advertising on TV at the same time they started promoting other kinds of drugs. And you realize, like, a lot of people used to smoke cigarettes for I guess for weight loss and for anxiety, and now instead they pop pills with crazier side effects. But anyway, way more people on pharmaceuticals, more video games just in general, and less social interaction. So, I mean, that's another thing, just less people interacting like human beings. That is definitely a change. More living in front of the screen, more. But, I mean, society had violence on the screens before. I guess you weren't playing the video game, you'd be watching a movie like Terminator, Predator, RoboCop, or a million others. Not the first Rambo, but the rest of them. You guys know that? Like the first Rambo, there's almost like no death and killing in it, and then it gets crazy. But anyway. Anyhow. 3 dead, 1 person living on a prayer. And they say that the victims were sent to the Sunrise Hospital. Now, notice, here's the information they've put out so far about the shooting, and I want to get to the location, Beam Hall, but this is pretty much all they know. 3 people were killed and 1 person is in critical condition after a shooting on the UNLV campus, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police said Wednesday. The suspect was also killed, police said. Police earlier said they were responding to reports of a shooting near Beam Hall, home of the university's Lee Business School. UNLV is located just a few miles from the site of the 2017 mass shooting at the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival, which left at least 58 people dead and hundreds more wounded. So, I looked up this building where the shooting happened, Beam Hall, and it was opened in 83. That stood out right away, opened in 83. Again, if you're new here, please look up the song from 1983 called Murder by Numbers by the Police, where killing is the sport of the elected. It's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. You think about how the politicians, again, a song about how killing is the sport of the elected. And it's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. So this building came out in 83, fateful number that we talk about a lot in rituals like this. And then the other thing that really screamed out at me is the address of the building. It's 4505 South Maryland Parkway. We've talked about so many deaths connected to the Baltimore Ravens this year. Baltimore has that Gematria 58. There's been so many deaths connected to Baltimore this year. And again, when you watch that Batman scene where the stadium explodes with the big 322, and just wait, we're about to get to how it's 58 days after Yale's 322nd birthday and why it matters even more. But in that scene, you have the guy kicking off, his name is like Raven something, right? And then in the Sum of All Fears, it's the Steelers and the Ravens playing. And in both movies, stadiums explode. But remember, the Ravens and the Steelers had a crazy ritual this year. Edgar Allan Poe's death anniversary was October 7th, the day the war in Israel began. And the very next day, 10-8, the Steelers played, the day Israel declared the war. But it was 10-8, and Kenny Pickett played that day, and he became 10-7 as a starter, like the Edgar Allan Poe death anniversary the day before, 10-7, which was the 174th anniversary in Baltimore. Ravens equals 174, and Tomlin, the coach of the Steelers, got his 174th win. But just there's been all this weird stuff they've been doing with the Ravens this year. And just like how Baltimore equals 58 in Gematria, so does Pittsburgh. And I'm trying to think. There's not a lot of cities that equal 58, but both of them do. So anyway, it stands out to me that the building address is Maryland. And with regards to the year 83, again, the word murder equals 83. So does Ravens. Again, a lot of dead Ravens this year. Football also equals 83. So, interesting. And again, if you measure from Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting October 1st, 2017 to today, it's 322 weeks and 3 days later. And again, Tom Petty, they just used this song in the Grand Theft Auto series exactly 322 weeks after his death. And again, he died the day after the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. Vegas, City of Entertainers, Sin City. The Vegas shooting in 2017, all year we had the maps, the calendar circled for that weekend for something huge to happen because of Yom Kippur, and it ended up being that. And I lost my channel for the first time June 28, 2017. By the time this shooting happened in 2017, just a few months later, I was like already on my 5th channel. And I think it's because I didn't like that we'd figured this out. We knew something real big was coming for that weekend. We said, watch, it's going to be like the worst false flag since 9/11. And remember what they said, 500 and some people shot. That was the worst false flag since 9/11. And we've lost a lot of channels just for saying that, but we're going to keep saying it because we've been on top of it and calling it out before it happened, and more people need to learn this knowledge and what's being done by this cabal that works by these repetitive codes, because these numbers are a language. But notice 322 weeks, again, like you see the 322 in the stadium that explodes in Batman. But it's also, and with regards to Batman, in the actual old school TV series, it's the 33rd episode, where it's revealed that Batman's grandfather founded Yale Skull and Bones, which is Order 322. But it's also 74 months. Notice that, 74 months. If you're new here, very fateful number. It also fits with the college, actually, because the gematria of running rebels is 74. So is killing. There's a reason 3 of the first 5 presidents died on 7/4, and we remember the killing of Caesar on the 74th day of the year. Very fateful number. The World Trade Centers were on the 74th meridian west. Remember who was president then? George W. Bush, Mr. Skull and Bones, Order 322. And again, if you're new here, these ciphers. George W. Bush in gematria, 58. Bush alone, 58, right? They went to Yale, Order 322. And from Yale's birthday, their 322nd birthday this year, October 9th, to this ritual in Vegas, which is being talked about alongside the 58 who were killed in 2017. But again, from Yale's birthday to today, 58 days later, on the nose. Some of the most famous alumni, the Bushes, both the George Bushes, George H.W. and George W. And remember, the 119th World Series just ended on George W. Bush's 119th day of his age after he threw out the first pitch. And after we called it at the start of the year why the Rangers had a great narrative for the World Series despite having 50-1 odds, because of the mega ritual they did, Game 1, March 30th. It was 267 days after Bush's birthday. Rangers versus Philly, the 267 area code. We're going to get to where 267 fits in with this today. You might recall Randall Cunningham. He's the team chaplain of the Las Vegas Raiders. And years back, before the Raiders went to Vegas, he lost his child in a hot tub in Vegas. Just makes you wonder. His child was 2 years old if you look it up. And if you spell out 2 as a word, T-W-O, T's the 20th letter, W's the 23rd, O's the 15th. You add those letters together, it's 58. But yeah, notice the gematria of running rebels and active shooter, both 74. It's 74 months after the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. Notice the next match for the Raiders. The Raiders could potentially fall to 5-8 in their next match against the Vikings. It's interesting, Vikings, Raiders, they're both pirates at sea. Skull and Bones is modeled after the Templars, who became pirates after they were burned at the stake in France, where the Friday the 13th superstition comes from. But notice the Vikings come in 6-6. The Raiders can fall to 5-8. Again, these mega rituals, they extend from politics to news to sports to the Oval Office. And again, you just follow the patterns. You see how perfectly orchestrated all is. This past weekend, one of the reasons we favored the Chargers to beat the Patriots was because we saw that the Chargers' next road loss as a franchise is their 271st, which is the 58th prime, and their next road game is in the Super Bowl 58 stadium. Again, in a Super Bowl year, you'll see how they pay tribute to the number in the regular season in the way they schedule the games. With regards to Walter Camp and him being Skull and Bones member Order 322, his death anniversary is Pi Day, March 14th. And from that day to today, the shooting is 267 days later. Again, that's the Philadelphia area code. and show you something about Philadelphia and Las Vegas Raiders, the newer name of the franchise. See how Las Vegas Raiders is 61 forwards and 101 in reverse? Look at how Philadelphia alone is 61 and 101. And again, Randall Cunningham, the Philadelphia great, becomes the team chaplain, loses his child in Vegas in the hot tub. But the 101-61, it overlaps. But again, they became the Las Vegas Raiders in the 101st NFL season. And we're talking about the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting on October 1st, 10-1, like 101. Recall who won the Super Bowl that year. That was the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. The 2017-2018 season, the Eagles began the year that year 10-1, and we were all over. In week 3 that season, we said why it'd be Eagles and Patriots, and we said watch for the Eagles to start the year 10-1, and they did it again this year. And again, now we're talking about the same old number, this 267, because last year we talked about the Niners staying on 267 wins in Philly on the road all time, staying on the Philly area code. Niners just beat Philly in Philly. Now this is happening. The historical connection with Philly and the Bay. Again, the Warriors went from Philly to the Bay. The Athletics went from Philly to the Bay to now they're going to Vegas. The Raiders have had coaches from Philly, but they went from the Bay to Vegas. So it's like this Philly to the Bay to Vegas thing. You see what I'm saying? And here's the other one. From this school's birthday to today's shooting, 87 days later. 87 days later. See how Philadelphia Eagles is 87? When you run it in reverse, it's 93, like how the Niners became 9-3 against them this weekend. But yeah, I got to think more about sports history and if there's any connection with UNLV and Philly.
Here's the second word, fascination.
Oh, hold on, we got a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Get beyond just simple interest. Interested people are probably satisfied that it ticks. It ticks. And that's good to know. It ticks. But fascinated people want to know what? What makes it tick? Fascinated people aren't satisfied usually with surface information. They've got to know more than just what appears. What is really going on? What's making things tick? What's making things happen? Why do people feel like they do and think like they think? What is the difference between success and failure? Who has the appetite and who doesn't have the appetite? This whole fascination about life and people and circumstances and society and money and banks and churches and sermons and books and records and life experiences and enterprise and nations and color and races and religion. I'm telling you, if you'll take a new fascinated look at life and what's going on, it will now show up in color and sharpness in your future.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? IOLife is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to iolife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor, Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker, and we actually did get an update, and my jaw hits the floor again. There is an update in the story. They're saying it's a 67-year-old career professor responsible for the mass shooting. Well, I hadn't even gotten to the part in my presentation yet about 67, but it was coming up next. Today's shooting is 67 days before the Super Bowl in Vegas on February 11th, 2024. Again, Super Bowl 58, and they're talking about this alongside the 58 dead in 2017. But today is 67 days before the Super Bowl, and if you're new here, that's a very fateful number. The word blood sacrifice is 67, so is human sacrifice, so is satanic, so is killer. Again, the whole 666 thing. But today, 67 days before the Super Bowl, and again, the story is right here. The gunman in a Wednesday mass shooting on the University of Nevada, Las Vegas campus that left 3 dead and a 4th critically injured is a 67-year-old career college professor with connections to schools in Georgia and North Carolina, a law enforcement source told CNN. But it's unknown what connection he had with the school where the shooting took place. At a Wednesday evening news conference, Las Vegas Metro Sheriff Kevin McMahill, Mick like Scottish, said the identity of the shooter who is dead will not be released until his family has been notified. McMahill said the shooter was engaged outside a Beam Hall by campus police officers. There was a gathering outside the hall where students were playing games and were building things with Legos, according to the sheriff. Building things with Legos? Man, it really is the idiocracy. What? That's what's going on at college today? Come on, man. Legos? That's the new engineering degree. AI just does everything. But yeah, 67. It's just like, and my post with the 67 information has been up on my website for some time, but this is the new breaking detail that it was a 67-year-old shooter. And like we also just talked about, the school just turned 66 years old. And of course, when you turn 66, that's when you begin your 67th year of life. Again, for the person who cannot follow that logic, when you're born, you begin your first year of life. You turn 1. When you turn 1, do you begin your first year of life? No, you begin your second year of life. So when you turn 2, you begin your third year of life. Thus, when you turn 66, you begin your 67th year of life. Going with our 67-year-old shooter. And yeah, those really are the main components here. And again, if you're new and this seems overwhelming or complicated, trust me, it's not. You stick around, you watch a few more videos, you see we're talking about the same stuff, the same patterns, the same numbers that trace back to the same secret societies over and over. And again, in Gematria, with regards to the 58 thing and Super Bowl 58 upcoming, Freemasonry equals 58, Rosicrucian equals 58, Secret Society equals 58. King James, who was a Freemason and Rosicrucian, died at age 58, unexpectedly. Freemasonry secrets are in Solomon's Temple. Solomon's Temple equals 58. Big number. Just like Donald Trump became seen as an authority figure on The Apprentice, which is the honorary degree of Freemasonry, and then he won the 58th election after announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower. And another 58 word is fraternal, and you think of the Fraternal Order of Police and how their logo has the Masonic handshake. Another big number with Masonry, of course, is 33. The UNLV basketball team was established in 58. They're 3-3 right now. And I need to go back and check, but did Bobby Knight, I know he coached Indiana, did he coach UNLV for a minute? Am I making that up about Bobby Knight? Hold on. Bear with me for bad radio for just a few seconds. I got to make sure Bobby Knight didn't also coach UNLV. Of course, he just died on November 1st. And Army, Indiana, Texas Tech. Okay, he did not coach at UNLV. I was just, for some reason, I was crossing that in my head. It's the red. But he had a very satanic death recently. He's ranked 5th all-time in wins for college coaches, died 5 days before the start of the season. Of course, basketball's the game of 5 on 5. And of course, the highest degree of the satanic church is the 5th, and it's mega, M-A-G-A, just like Trump runs on. For one more thing before we go out to the callers, Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy today announced that he will not run for re-election. And what a fitting ritual it was. He's 58 years old right now, by the way. His birthday is 1/26. That's January 26th. Remember, Kobe died on his 55th birthday, and then he became the 55th Speaker of House. But his birthday is 1/26, and then he announces on 12/6, another 1/26 date, that he will not run. And this is the big thing. He represents California. Well, historically, he's represented the 23rd district. They've reshuffled, but in his time in Congress, he's been in the 23rd district. So he's ending this at the end of 2023. And from when he first took office to his announcement, he first took office January 3rd, 2007. It's 203 months and 3 days later. 203, a lot like 23. And remember, he got ousted from Speaker of House October 3rd. That was 2 months and 3 days ago. And again, in Gematria, end equals 23. His name, Kevin Owen McCarthy, equals 83, the 23rd prime. But at the end of 23, he's not coming back. There's other things that are interesting about his announcement today, but I'll keep it simple right there so we don't overload the numbers. The 23 ritual to conclude 23. Taylor Swift named Times Person of the Year. This happens while she's 33 years old. Remember, she's highly attached to Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been doing stats about how the Chiefs have performed in the games she's attended this year, where they have a high win percentage when she's there. Today is 67 days before the Super Bowl, and Kansas City does equate to 67. We speculate at the beginning of the season, or actually at the very end of Super Bowl 57, that it's very possible that the AFC Championship this year is the Ravens and the Chiefs, and that wouldn't shock anybody right now if it happened. They're two of the better teams in the AFC. But again, the ritual in Vegas today has a connection with Philly. This ritual, Taylor Swift, who's connected to the NFL season, and Travis Kelce, that's part of the story too, just her and Kelce. But 67 days for the Super Bowl, where Kansas City's also 67. And then remember, her full name, Taylor Allison Swift. Full name is 104, like this is the 104th NFL season. Swift alone is 58. Super Bowl 58. She's a big part of this season. And one other thing, just about over in Israel, Jerusalem equals 104 and 58. Again, the movie Black Sunday, first year of a Black Friday NFL game, but Black Sunday about a Palestinian terrorist group attacking the Super Bowl. I mean, if it was ever going to happen in history after Israel's 9/11 involving Palestine and Hamas, you know what I mean? So hopefully nothing like that happens, but you just wonder how far the psychopaths will go. They knocked down major skyscrapers in New York City September 11, 2001 to start 20-some years of warfare. You know, you blow up a Super Bowl, how long of a world war does that buy you? Is that like 50 years of warfare guaranteed, maybe 58? That's the way these people calculate. Don't forget, Time Magazine has that Gematria 201, very special number to the Jesuits and the Illuminati. Taylor Swift has that Gematria 129, which is 201 in base 8 counting. It's almost like she was born to be Time's Person of the Year at age 33. Remember, 33 is a very human number. Freemasonry's obsession with 33 is because of Kundalini, spiritual ascension up to 33 bones of the human vertebrae. And in Gematria, people equals 33, like person, like society, like even the word nervous, when your nervous system is controlled by your spine. And seemingly the Cabal wants to keep everybody in a state of anxiety at all times with all the needless fear they push to control us. There were some mass shootings in Texas today, in Travis County as well. Or at least they arrested the mass shooter today. It might have happened last night, overnight. 6 killed, 3 injured. Travis County has that Gematria 74 as well. Again, we talked about it being 74 months since the Vegas shooting. And Travis County also has the Gematria 187, the homicide code. So anyhow, those are the things I wanted to point out, and maybe you guys have some additional observations. Shout out to Chris with the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Chris. And let's open up the phone line. If you want to phone in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. And looks like we got the usual suspects on the line tonight. Again, always like to hear new voices. 772, what's up?
Hey, Zach, what's up?
Yeah, how you doing?
You can get back to me later, but I just wanted to say that what I'm going to talk about. I went to a Jesuit church, and I took a bunch of pictures and stuff, and like decoded a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of 93s and stuff in there. But yeah, I'll talk about it later.
When is later?
Oh, just get back to me later. I'm just busy with something right now.
Okay.
I don't have the
Okay. All right. The point of calling into a show is to be ready when the call comes to you, not to be like, come back to me later. But anyway, 707, you're on. 707? 707. Must be napping. Let's go out to 810. 810, you're on. Okay, 810. I must have put everybody to sleep tonight. 951, you're on. Hello? Okay, everybody's just mute tonight. Let's go out to 505. 505.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing, Kayla?
Good. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't overlook that, the Las Vegas Aces won the WNBA Finals this year, back on Brittany Griner's birthday, the day leaving 74 days left, which that was exactly 49 days ago. Like Las Vegas, of course, equals 49.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. There's more to go with that, but I just didn't want to forget that,
they won it.
Won the championship.
They won it on the day leaving 74 days left in the year, too.
Yeah, I said that. I don't think you heard me. But yeah, exactly. The day leaving 74 days left on Brittany Griner's 33rd birthday, and they're playing New York. Las Vegas Aces equates to 33. They picked up their 33rd postseason win all time, winning that game. And then something that I didn't click until you mentioned that, was it Las Vegas, the city, or are you talking about the university that was established on 10/9?
Well, I measured from September 10th, which is UNLV's establishment date. I measured from Halloween, which is Nevada's establishment date. And then I also measured from October 9th, which is the day Yale turned 322 years old. Because it's
Okay.
the shooting from Route 91 to this is 322 weeks later.
Okay. Yeah, and then because September 10th in the WNBA was also the last day of the regular season, so that kind of stood out to me too.
Interesting.
But yeah, and a lot of Vegas. But that was all I was calling about. Other than I just noticed that tonight UNLV was supposed to play Dayton, Ohio, and Dayton, Ohio has gematria of 126, like today's date. But
Okay. Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. I'm just trying to think of famous basketball players with a UNLV connection, and the only one coming to mind is J.R. Ryder. But
I'm not familiar with that university at all. And then also I saw a Yahoo News put out an article talking about a Route 91 Harvest Fest survivor reacts to UNLV shooting. So of course, they're always going to tie it in, but I don't know if you saw that connection in the article yet.
I just looked up the article since you brought it up. I got it up on the screen now.
Cool. But yeah, I'm still just looking at things too. But that was really all I had.
All right.
49 days ago, Las Vegas won the championship.
Yeah, great catches as always, Kayla. I appreciate it. And for people who don't know, Kayla went out and educated at the site of the championship. So thanks for doing that, Kayla.
Oh yeah, of course. All right, see ya. Have a good show.
All right, have a good night. Yeah. Las Vegas. She was saying it equals 49, which is true when you run it in reverse. When you run it forwards, Las Vegas equals 23. And here we are at the end of 23 as well. Joe Biden said there would be some major gun reform in the time of his administration. I don't think there's been anything too major yet. There's been more silly laws to make it seem like they're doing something, but I don't think there's been anything quite major yet. Let's go out to 708. 708, you're on. $708. We got a lot of people on tonight that just aren't saying anything. Interesting. Let's go out to 347.
Hey, what's up, Zach? You can hear me?
Loud and clear.
Did you see in the news when that was last Friday, or the news might have came out Thursday night or Friday, and you always said when this war happened that Netanyahu could compare it to 9/11, and they said that they knew for a year it was called Jericho's War that they was planning this attack. Did you see that article last Friday? Yes, and they called it a 40-page. They had a 40-page report that Hamas was planning something like this a year ago, and it was called Jericho's Wall.
Jericho's Wall, okay, and they did some rituals with Trump and Jericho in the WWE years ago. So
so what's up with the Jericho Wall part of it? 40 pages.
Well, again, just 40 pages, biblical number, Jericho's Wall being knocked down with the trumpets, biblical story, the Western Wall in Israel. So what's the headline again? I'm trying to pull it up, the one you just mentioned. I see the one about the 40-page document warning.
But they had information about the Hamas attack called the Jericho Wall. That's what they called it. They had insider information a year ago. And it was called the Jericho Wall, 40 pages. That's what I saw last Friday.
Yeah, I see it. New York Times reported 40-page document. They had the intelligence, and they codenamed it Jericho Wall. Okay.
So just like 9/11, they had inside information that it was going to happen. See, so what it was because y'all was comparing it to the 9/11. See how we repeat history will repeat itself.
Jericho's wall, that story is in the book of Joshua, and Joshua has that gematria 74, like how Netanyahu's 74 now, and like how the Gaza Strip's 74 years old. So that's probably part of it. And if they got it a year ago, Israel would have been 74 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So I just thought that was strange that they put that out there when they keep comparing it to their 9/11, and they had knowledge of it a year ago. So basically, they knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. Jericho wall, 64, like Israel, like Zion, like synagogue of Satan. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My next topic. This is one quick thing I thought about PD. I don't think this is a. You know how you say they always plan these characters' lives out ahead of time. Did you know that P. Diddy's father was killed in 72 at the age of 33?
I did not
while
know
he
that.
was 3 years old. Ain't that kind of strange?
Like I've said, so many of these mega stars in the world, they lost their fathers at a young age. It's almost like they want to raise these people without a dad. So, I did not know that.
Because they said that he was like a drug dealer. He used to work with Frank Lucas and Nicky Barnes and stuff. And they said that everybody in the crew got locked up, but except for him. So they thought he was a police informant. So that's why they say that they killed him at 33, while P. Diddy was 3 years old in 72. 72 Jesuit order, and at 33. So I just thought that was very interesting that his father got killed at 33 in 1972 when he was 3 years old. And now they fuck with him while he's 54 years old, Jesuit order again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, I didn't know that either about his father dying at 33. I'm going to have to look more into that one. Huh. Isn't Frank Lucas who the Denzel Washington American Gangster story is about?
Yes, American Gangster, yes.
And where did Denzel Washington go to school?
Fordham.
Georgetown, Jesuit educated.
I think you said Denzel Washington. Did he go to Fordham?
Or did he go to Fordham? I know he's Jesuit. Maybe he did go to Fordham and it wasn't Georgetown. Let me see. Maybe it was Fordham. Yeah, he went to Fordham. You're right. Yep, Fordham. Jesuit educated at Fordham. New York.
Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting that his father got killed at 32 when he was 3 years old. And now all this shit has happened to him at the age of 54. And they say it might be connected to Clyde Davis. And I remember when I first found you, we used to call in. I used to ask you about Whitney Houston and put us hiding with Clyde Davis. Clyde Davis still out here striking fear out here.
Yeah, indeed. Huh. Crazy. Yeah, I'm going to look more into that. I did not know about his father's death.
All right, Zach, that's it.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a good night.
No, you too.
Thank you. All right, let's go on to 435, Utah. 435, hello?
Hello, Zach?
Is this Daria?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
I found something interesting. So I put out a tweet a while ago, and you know how they canceled the basketball game, the UNLV basketball game?
Yes.
Did you notice who they were playing against?
The Dayton Flyers?
Yeah. Remember that there was a shooting in Dayton? On the same day when the Walmart shooting in El Paso happened?
Or was it, I think it might have been the next day? Were they both the 2 days of the weekend?
I think it was like it happened like late at night. I think it was I think it was like late at night.
Okay. The Dayton shooting was August 4th, 2019.
Yeah.
Or wait, that's the day they named the shooter. I have to double check that was the day of the shooting.
Yeah. But I mean, like, what are the odds? They were scheduled to play that school where they had a shooting.
The Dayton shooting happened on Obama's 58th birthday.
Yep.
So there's the 58 connection. The Dayton shooting was on Obama's. I'm looking at my old post right here. That's how I got it so fast. I was like, oh, perfect. It's funny. My post and I was comparing it to Vegas. I was talking, yeah, wow.
I mean, these are just obvious, in-your-face mockeries. I mean, I don't even know what to say to people anymore. When you know, I mean, this is so obvious. This is so in-your-face mockery.
Did you realize that shooting was on Obama's 58th birthday?
No, actually, no. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that when I saw that they had canceled their basketball game, and I saw it was Dayton. I was like, oh my gosh, not the Dayton, Ohio, where they had that shooting, and it was.
Daria, you need to stay on for the rest of the show because this is the kind of call that I wish I got more often. I'm looking back at this old photo. This is what they put out for the crime scene. Just a pile of shoes in the middle of the street in front of the Ned Pepper's bar where the shooting happened. And shoes has the gematria of 66, just like mass shooting. Shoes, shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
it's just funny looking back over this and seeing all the same connections.
Yeah, and then don't forget, you know, the green Converse, you know, with the Uvalde shooting with the green Converse. Oh my God, it's like, I mean, I don't even know what to say to people anymore. I mean, this is just in your face, you know, just mockery.
Well, okay, look at this. Maybe this is where the bigger joke is going. University of Nevada, Las Vegas does have gematria of 152, and so does Ned Pepper's, which is the bar that got shot up that day. And then the shooter's name, Connor Betts, was 152. Yeah. And now we're in Vegas making the bets just before Super Bowl 58, and Obama's wingman is the president of the United States, Joe Biden, again, which equals 152, and he became...
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Thank you. This may be the most important speech I've ever made. It was a massive dump. To this day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump. Wow, in the Senate. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Massive dump. To this day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump. Wow, but I went from leading a lot to losing by a little. We used to have what was called Election Day. Now we have election days, weeks and months. Lots of bad things happened. What can I say? Wow. It was a mass dump. Our country cannot live with this election. Right now, we're worried about the present and what went on with an election that we want without question. In Pennsylvania, large amounts of gum. All over the country, gum. Nevada and California said gum. Right here in Washington. It was a massive dump. To this day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump. Wow, in the Senate. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Massive dump. To this day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump. Wow, but I went from leading a lot to losing by a little. So many got ballots, they didn't even know what they were for. And again, so many received more than one ballot. In some cases, more than two ballots. If you were a Democrat, we're going to fix up your ballot, make sure it's perfect. If you're a Republican, don't even talk about it. Can you believe this? The hardest thing I have to do is gum. When they're irregular, gum. Let's go on to the next song. It's because they know they are hiding with a massive gun. This day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive gun. Wow, in the Senate. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Massive gun. This day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive gun. Wow, and I went from leading.
Into the truth frequency.
You're protected from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, I think we're back, True Seeker. Over the break, it was pointed out that Legos has Gematria 58 in light of the other 58s in the shooting. Again, they said in the article, they talked about how near where the shooting happened, students were putting together Legos. But let's get back out to Daria. We got interrupted by the commercial break, and she had a really great observation about the Dayton mass shooting connection since today's basketball game got canceled with UNLV in Dayton. So go ahead, Daria.
Yeah, hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I mean, like I was saying, I'm like, when I saw that they had canceled their game, I was like, okay, so they canceled against Dayton. I'm like, don't tell me it was that one state in Ohio where they had the shooting. But I mean, this is just obvious, just crap, that they just throw in your face. I mean, how are people not seeing this?
Yeah, I know it is amazing, and I'm just scrolling back over my post from 4 years ago, the Dayton shooting, and just seeing all the same numbers we're talking about tonight. It's just it's been highly repetitive. So,
yeah, I mean, well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you have anyone in your friends or family that find this information interesting, or is everybody in denial?
My dad doesn't really pay attention to the news. He doesn't really care about the news, but I definitely educated my sisters about it. They pretty much know that not to even watch the news, that it's just all crap, and don't fall for these damn shootings. Don't fall for any of this, these terrorist attacks, this war, all that stuff. And just don't fall for it. All that stuff is just propaganda. It's nothing but garbage for the brain.
Right.
It's all meant to, just to, lower people's vibrations, bring everybody down. I mean, times are already tough as it is, for them just to be. But, I'm glad, I mean, they're not really, they don't get it, but they're kind of, they know something's not right.
Yeah. And it's only got to be a matter of time before more people catch on to exactly what we're talking about over and over, because it is just so repetitive. So
yeah, exactly.
And by the way,
yeah, well,
Daria, who's on the line right now, you guys should follow her on Twitter. She's making great posts, and I saw you trying out the YouTube this morning, getting that figured out. Do you want to plug your social media?
So definitely follow me on Twitter at same name, Daria Gematria Nerd. You can find me there on Twitter. I'm still working out how to go live stream. I mean, when it comes to like live streaming, I'm kind of dumb when it comes to like.
Well, you had it started this morning. I could hear you. It seemed like it was fine. Were you having trouble changing your screen to something else?
Exactly. That's like the one problem I have is like showing what I'm going to like if I want to show like my Twitter feed or if I want to show like graphics and stuff. That's like the only thing that I have issues with.
Here's my advice.
Setting.
Just set up a free StreamYard account and then connect your StreamYard account to your YouTube login and then just do your streams through StreamYard. It makes it way easier.
Oh, okay. All right. I will try that, Zach. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, Daria.
And thanks for taking my call, Zach.
Oh, of course. Call us back.
Okay.
Okay. You have a good night. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. All right. So nice to hear from Daria. Again, she's been out pounding pavement all over the place. That's from Oklahoma City to New York. And now she's doing some great decodes. So find her on the social media platforms. Again, Daria Gematria Nerd. Let's go out to 843. 843, you're on.
Hey, what's up, Zach? I'm a long-time listener, and I want to know, did you saw the story in the Los Angeles Times about Vanessa Bryant sold her house for $3.22 million?
I missed it. 3.22, of course.
Maybe that's a connection with the upcoming event with Kobe Bryant next month in January.
When did you see that headline? When did it come out?
I think a couple days ago. I'm pretty sure it's less than a week.
Okay, I'm going to look it up because this past Sunday was 201 weeks after his death. So I'll give it a look. Remember, he died at age 41. Skull and bones equals 41. They're order 322.
Interesting. But, that's all I got for you, buddy. Enjoy listening to you. Long time listener, second time caller.
I appreciate the call. Great observation. I did not see that headline, so I'm glad you brought it to my attention. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, sir.
All right, you have a good night.
You too.
Okay. He was actually the last caller on the line. There's a bunch of us still on hold, but they didn't pick up the phone when I went to them. I can try some of these callers again. But yeah, we're out of callers. If you want to phone in, 213-233-3998. 772, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. So I had went to a Jesuit church in Miami called it was called Coral Gables United Church of Christ. Don't worry, I didn't give them any donations, but I noticed a lot of like symbolism and stuff that they had. One of the things the guy singing, which they all had like Jesuit robes on and stuff. He had a white dove on his on the front, and I looked it up. White dove is actually 666. It's 48, 132, and 42. I noticed that Coral Gables United Church of Christ is 177, like the Jesuit order. And they also have like, I'm going to post these on Free to Find Truth, actually, so that way you can see them. And they had like this row. Hold on, let me post it so that way you can see it. You can see what I'm talking about. It's up on the podium. That's what it's called. And it says "in remembrance of me." It's spelled really weird. It's not spelled in remembrance. It's spelled remembrance. And that equals 87. And it equals 93. And it also said it also says it when I was hungry and thirsty on the front, like on a plaque, and that's 333 and 126 in full reduction and reverse full reduction. And it also says on a plaque on the front, we are all children of an all-loving God. Let us act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly in God, which I noticed was 316. And so I thought that stuff was pretty interesting. And when the lady was talking, she was talking about how basically the circle is like symbolic of like of eternal or like eternality or whatever. I noticed that they had a circle behind the cross. So it's basically like, you know, the circle going on forever and ever, basically the last forever. Okay, I just posted one of the pictures on Free to Find Truth. If you open it up, you can see the stuff I posted. And they also had the floors were like, it wasn't checkerboard, but it was black and white and like almost a checkerboard pattern. Let me see. Let me post the other stuff. I'm trying to post everything so you can see all the stuff. Post a plaque on the front. But yeah, I was just I was curious what you would think about a lot of the stuff, like the symbolism and stuff. It's been there for I think it's they were having like a 99-year anniversary. So it's almost 100 years old. It was built in 1923 or 24.
Okay. Yeah, I have to look into it. I mean, I see the 2 photos you posted. So you can post it out there.
Yeah, and I'm posting more. It on the front of the building, they had like a bunch of plaques on the front of the building. It said that it was number 22 of like historic places in Miami, which I thought was pretty interesting. So it's the 22nd City of Coral Gables landmark. So there was like just numbers and symbolism everywhere on that building, and they had the Bible. I didn't see, sadly, what scripture they had open on the Bible that was up on the podium, because they have like a Bible open, if you can see in the picture, that basically shows I don't know what scripture it is. Yeah, that's pretty much all the pictures I have. I think that there's one more, but I also wanted to tell you about I know you've been talking about like sports players being like genetically engineered, and I don't think that you know about this. Have you ever heard of CRISPR babies?
Yeah.
CRIS.
Yeah.
Oh, you have heard.
Yeah, CRISPR. Yeah, of course. It's like choosing your child's features.
Yeah, exactly. It's and there's also the designer babies. So you probably know about the designer babies too. Then, I think that's pretty much all I. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. I'm glad I didn't remember this. So I know that you know that arsenic is the 33rd element, but the abbreviation for arsenic on the periodic table is AS. AS is 34, like murder.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. So if you look up the periodic table and look at arsenic, that abbreviation AS is 34 in reverse ordinal.
Okay.
And it's also 20, which is also another killing number.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I had. That's all I had.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. You have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Take care. All right. Let's try out. Let's see here. Let's go out to 708. 708, you're on. Hello?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? Have you ever noticed in Gematria, Washington, D.C. equals 56 and 61 in the same ciphers that mind control does?
Yeah. Try, let's go back to the mind control examples that we were talking about a lot at the beginning of COVID. Mind control, toilet paper, Washington, D.C., Anthony Fauci, like all the overlap with all these things. Coronavirus. So, yeah, mind.
Yeah, man.
There's some major overlap.
Yeah, so you see, have you also heard of a group of people who claim to be under mind control by the CIA, and they call targeted individuals, and it equals 120, just like Illuminati, but not in the same cipher, but it does equal the same cipher as mind control experiments in that reverse reduction is interesting. And when you see stuff like that, and you know how I've watched your videos and heard you talk about before how there's 64 spaces on the chessboard, and the difference between the Illuminati's birthday and the Independence Day, 64 days, and checkmate and masonry equal 33 in the same cipher.
Yeah. I got an old post on chess in 33. Go ahead.
Okay, so there is something called a game of deception where they torment people based on the gematria of their names all around the world. And all these people are experiencing the same symptoms that these people who are this thing called voice of skull and this mind control thing that they are talking to them and they're telling them lies. And I noticed the 113, like another thing I heard you talk about in your videos with the 113, all those words that have to do with deception equal to 113. And so does the United States. And, you know, they're doing that. And it's just like, you know, mind control experiment also equals 113. And then you notice that, and you notice if you look at like the targeted individuals page, that it's just like people talking about this, the same thing, the tormentors people, or it's my mind control thing where there's neurological, linguistic thing. It's just like you get to this person's brain and you are able to plant voices in their brain and they can hear stuff. It's like, it's actually called like direct energy weapons.
Right.
And they have the thing where it's just like through the electromagnetic fields, you get like a sense of a pulse where you are getting a signal from this technologically advanced weaponry that the government is using, and it can work from a distance of anywhere in the world. If you look it up, these people are called targeted individuals, and but again, like they're experiencing, you know, they'll all tell you that they're getting these voices to brain, and people will come back as schizophrenic or have some other mental illness, and it just comes down to that's how they want us to look. They think that, you know, like everybody, they think like everyone would expect that this person is just crazy if they think that, if they say that. But there are millions, billions even, all around the world who are reporting the same cases, that they are hearing this stuff in their brain. It's mind controlled. There have even been people who worked in the government who have spoken out about it, who have worked on such a project, you know, that has derived from the MK Ultra days. And, you know, if they claim to have stopped it, but we all can figure that they haven't stopped doing is MK Ultra experiments. It just has advanced and evolved along with the days. But it's just, you see stuff like that, and then you see the gematria, especially the same cipher thing. I know it doesn't have to be the same cipher, but especially the same cipher thing, like, you know, mind control in Washington, D.C. And it just goes to show that it makes sense, because all these people are reporting that they had this voice to skull thing. These are Masons within the government who are taking on secret jobs, and they are to torment a person, get into their heads, say things to mess them up, constantly talk to them. People will just assume it's schizophrenia, and they will hear this, and people, their job is to lie to them. Their job is to string them out, and eventually leads them to their death. There's actually something, it's called the Game of Deception, and in the same cipher as New World Order, Game of Deception equals 75. Also 69 in the same cipher as New World Order. And I actually heard a guy who worked for the government who claims to it, or it's like, I actually thought it was like a TikTok video, to be honest. Like, it was a TikTok video, but I couldn't figure out a way to like share it. I'm not exactly on that or hip to exactly how it works, if you can share it or not, but I was trying to figure it out, couldn't figure it out. But you can send it in Messenger. And in that video, there was a guy who was claimed that worked on the project with the government himself. And he talked about the neurological activity that such technology that the government has been doing for a long time. And they even using the Gulf War to get, you know, the enemies to lay down their weapons. And he even said that they said it's the voice of Allah and got them to lay down their weapons. They had no idea what it was. They assume it's some kind of spiritual entity, and they don't know what to do. It's something that the government has been doing for a long time. It's just like I've heard you talk in your videos, that special number 201, like weather control, like something they used in another war was that, I need to brush up on my knowledge on that, but was that Vietnam? Correct me if I'm wrong. Or...
Yeah, weather warfare definitely attached to Vietnam. That's when the U.S. government admitted it for the first time with Operation Popeye.
Yep. Exactly. You know it better than me, but you know, I got some details, just not everything tied up. But they do that, and that weather control is another thing that equals 201. Just like 7 churches, like the 7 churches that John was told in the book of Revelation. It was a scroll to the message to the 7 churches. And we see like 113, a number that comes up a lot, you know, symbolically in the book of Revelation. It's been happening a lot lately. Like I've also, another thing I've heard you use in your videos, Michael Jordan, you've been talking about lately. Michael Jordan's name equals 113. It's just a lot. Of course, Apocalypse equals 113, and John. Did you know that John equals 187 and 201 in the satanic and reverse satanic ciphers? And Ohio equals the same thing. And you see that in that, it's like, I like to call it the Super Bowl cipher and the reduction cipher. That's just my thing. But because Kobe Bryant equals 41 in the same cipher that Super Bowl equals 41, I know you already know that, but I'm just, you know what I'm saying? But just like 86 is what St. Francis of Assisi equals in that same cipher. And we all know who the Kansas City Chiefs beat that year that Kobe died, Super Bowl 54, which came the Sunday, of course, after Kobe died. And Kobe being Bryant equals 54 in that same cipher.
And here, with regards to Kobe, hold on, with regards to Kobe and Mahomes, the Super Bowl is on 2/11, exactly 211 weeks after Kobe's death. And Patrick Mahomes just played in the Super Bowl 58 stadium, and he left that stadium with 211 regular season touchdowns and 58 interceptions. So, yeah.
That's symbolism right there. They are letting us know. And the fact that they also mentioned that his statue is going up 3 days before.
Right.
And that's on a date with Mason numerology, that 28. They're like, putting it right in our face. Plus, the Super Bowl is 56 days from the Pope's birthday. So they just, it's just a thing they letting us know. Did you also, know that, I'm not sure which week it was, but when the Raiders played the Packers on Monday Night Football, it was the day after the 49ers and the Cowboys played. And it was that day, the 49ers, spanked the Cowboys. It was 42-10. And the 49ers actually had number 54 get an interception. And then right after, the broadcaster goes on to mention a Kobe reference. He's like, oh, yeah. And he was talking about that Mamba mentality that Kobe had. And, I forget his name, but his name escapes me at the moment. But the player who got the interception, he was talking about, how he hung out with him and he was mentioning, he always, talking about Kobe before the game and said that he's got that Moby mentality, that Mamba mentality. And he said that, right after, and then number 24, Jordan Mason, went on to score a touchdown the exact play after.
Right.
And then later on.
Right. All right, we got commercial break, but I appreciate it. Great call. Yeah, we're going to the commercial break, though, right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you have a good night. Okay. Quick break.
My hero. That's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I don't know. I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero is always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing. So to any of us, whatever those things are, whatever it is we look up to, whatever it is we look forward to, and whoever it is we're chasing, to that I say amen. To that I say, all right. To that I say, just keep living, huh?
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
If there's something you want to achieve, you can achieve any freaking thing you want as long as you know what the goal is. That's why goal posters or goal boards or even just telling someone what your goals are, writing them down is so important, because once you can identify your goal, it makes it so much easier to work towards it. And that's something that I think our children are not being taught in the school system right now, is how to set a proper goal. It's like, hey, what do you want to achieve? Well, the teacher gave me these things I want to achieve. Okay, well, what's that going to do for you? Well, I don't know. The teacher said I had to do it. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't teach them the logical thought process or the creative thinking process to develop a goal and then reverse engineer what they need to do to accomplish that goal. And we need more of that true goal setting in our society. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of sheep who have no idea what they're doing. They're just bumbling around. Don't be a sheep, be a goat. They're more creative and adventurous anyways. Be an ornery goat.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
Or TFR.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got interrupted by the commercial break again. We're talking the UNLV shooting and everything else relevant. If you want to phone in tonight, it's 213-233-3998. And it just came to my attention that it's Luna Rostra's birthday. Happy birthday, Barbara. Appreciate you tuning in on your birthday. And let's go out to 908, New Jersey.
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
No, so I was, again, I showed up late on this stream, so I know you've been talking about it the whole time. I've only tuned in for the last 10, 15 minutes, but I looked at the gematria of some of these names and just the facts of, the case of the UNLV shooting right now. I just saw that there was a name in this article. The sheriff, Kevin McMahill, he has a 75 reverse reduction, so Ignatius of Loyola. I also saw Brett Johnson. He was, I think, a bystander in this shooting. I saw his name in the article, and he had a 150 for, is it Order of Illuminati's 150?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then the mayor, I'm pretty sure you pointed it out, Carolyn Goodman, I think, was her name. She's 84 years old. That's a Jesuit number, as well. So it's just, and then also what's obviously, I'm sure you explained it already, they have the, in-season tournament for the NBA, and I think the finals are in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think with this in-season tournament, I believe the winner is crowned in Vegas. Like as the tournament progresses, the winning team in the end, the big games are played in Vegas this year. So I just found it really interesting that this occurred, right as this in-season tournament was going on. And then number two, I just saw LeBron put out a statement, and I know the Lakers won last night, and they keep talking about this tournament, and it seems like it just seems lined up for the Lakers to, I don't know, I guess win it. This big tournament in its first, it's in its annual inception. So I just found that like so odd that with Vegas being such a theme for the Super Bowl that you constantly talked about, that it just seems so mind-blowing how they make this work, how it just seems so clear-cut and so ritualistic, so fake, and it really blows my mind. I wrote a comment on one of your YouTube videos you just posted recently. I think it was yesterday, the Wings singer who died. And ever since I became a member of this community and just this channel, listening to all your work, taking all the notes that I can and learning, you know, on a day-to-day basis, everything I can get out of you, I go back and I just use the calculator link that you sent us like the first time. And I type all these celebrity names, entertainment, news media, just anything in general. And everything seems to come back to the Catholic Church, and the Jesuits. It's literally every single name that I type in. And it's not that like I never believed in this stuff. I always knew that these things that are broadcasted to us, you know, on a grander scale, it always means that, you know, it's meant to distract us. It's meant to keep us, you know, unserious about, you know, what's really, you know, going on in this world. And it's just such a shame now nobody can seem to understand that all this stuff does is try to like make you lower, like with be low vibrational, just very negative, and pollute your mind with, you know, nonsense to think that there's no hope in sight. But the reality is that, you know, these things, when they happen, it's all on purpose. And for me, you know, and I know it sounds terrible, but like, I'm gaining like humor out of, you know, every day when these news stories break, because I've learned so much from your channel being, you know, watching this stuff. And it's all right there. Like the proof is in the pudding. I've even gone as far back, you know, to look up the 1994 finals with the Knicks, since Patrick Ewing was a Jesuit. There are so many 84s on the board in those finals, in the box scores. It's mind-blowing. And then even I looked at the O.J. Simpson case. I looked at the Dream Team with Johnny Cochran and everyone. Seems like every single lawyer was Jesuit educated. It's ridiculous and hilarious all at the same time. So again, I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for all the hard work that you put in, all the time you put into this to you know, further help us understand that these things are done on purpose and by design to keep us, you know, to get us out of our element. And the more that I listen to you and the more that I interact with everyone in this community, I feel much better knowing that, you know, I'm ahead of the curve.
Indeed. Well, I appreciate your call and you using the knowledge, and good to hear from you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right, you have a good night. Him bringing up the mayor, I just got to read about her. You guys are going to love this. Carolyn Goodman, this is the mayor of Las Vegas, born on the 84th day of the year, March 25th, 1939, 84 years old right now, is an American politician who has served as mayor of Las Vegas, Nevada since 2011. She is the second female mayor of Las Vegas and is married to former mayor and attorney Oscar Goodman. She is the founder, president, and trustee emerita of the Meadows School. Born in New York City in 1939 to a Jewish family, Goodman attended the Brearley School, then earned a bachelor's degree in anthropology from Bryn Mawr College in 1961. She and Oscar Goodman moved to Las Vegas from Philadelphia in 1964. She graduated from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas in 1973 with a master's degree in counseling. That means it's the 50th anniversary. The 50th anniversary. As we know, gun control equals 50. She gets a mass shooting at her alma mater on the 50th anniversary. And, you know, I mean, you know, Sandy Hook and the parents that want to undermine the First and Second Amendment. And, you know, what did they say her religion was again? I don't want to dare repeat it for fear of anti-Semitism, but it's just like, why does it always seem to just come back to this? And why is Philadelphia there again? Like the synagogue of Satan. They got this lady dressed up like the Joker in her Wikipedia page, if you haven't seen it. She's like a stand-in double for Joaquin Phoenix. But yeah, I love that her maiden name was Goldmark. Amazing. Amazing. She was once an active in the local Jewish Federation. She eventually became the leader of the local Jewish Federation's women's division, a position she held for several years. Okay. On June 7th, there's that 6/7/2011, Goodman was elected mayor of Las Vegas with 60% of the vote in a runoff election against Chris Guncilani, some mobster name. Okay. October 24, 2011, Goodman greeted President Barack Obama at McCarran International Airport. Okay. It's a good day to meet him. The day leaving 68 days left near Barack Obama, 68. Number 44, like what happened on 4/4 and 68? Oh, that's right. MLK got wasted. During her tenure as mayor, Goodman promoted Las Vegas as a home for professional sports teams. The Vegas Golden Knights, remember that was all tied in with the Vegas shooting as well. The Golden Knights coming in and winning something big right away. Okay, let me get back out to the callers. Again, if you want to phone in tonight, it's 213-233-3998. Let's go out to 458, Oregon.
Hello, Zach.
Hello.
Long time no talk. I followed you back in the whiteboard days.
You're not the gentleman who carved what is 47 in your pickup truck, are you?
I am.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I haven't heard from you for a long time. I remember you told us you were having a health battle back then, so I'm glad you're still kicking.
I am enduring.
Good for you.
I am not right, but I am enduring. I wonder if you've ever heard of the movie Telethon, made in 1977 with Charles Bronson and Lee Remick.
I'm pulling it up. I haven't seen that one.
It's all about mind control.
Okay.
And how the Soviet Union programmed a bunch of people and then planted them into the United States, and then at any time they could just trigger these people into committing terrorism, like blowing up gas stations and military bases. Very interesting.
I was going to say the show Utopia also has this about how the government has these mind control people. They just have to activate them and then they turn into terrorist killers. And it makes you wonder about a story like today with this 67-year-old professor that just starts shooting people, so we're told.
That's exactly.
Huh.
It's a old flick, but it's very pertinent to today.
Telethon. Okay, I'm going to have to look into this one. I see it's set in Las Vegas as well. How fitting.
How fitting. Yeah, that's why it just triggers to put the point on it of how they can just make a call to somebody like this other caller was referring to, and they can just activate a code, just like is in the opening to your show. They can just call up and activate a code and send these people after their mission. They have pre-placed explosives and pre-placed guns, and just an amazing coincidence. And it just goes back to the old 47, just like in my youth, AC/DC was a big band,
right?
Back in Black,
right?
Of course, back in my day, I didn't know AC was 1-3, which equals 4, and DC is
Yeah.
4-3, which is 7. So it's a 47 right in your face.
By the way, another 47 right in your face today is Howard Stern's hairdresser is dead at the age of 58, 47 weeks from Howard Stern's birthday. So.
Hello? Anyway, I got my property taxes at the beginning of the month. And can you still hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. Well, back in 2008, at the top of the last pump and dump, where they rid the housing market, they had my little 2-acre lot valued at $238,000 for a single wide mobile home on 2 acres of dirt. They had it valued at $238,000, over $250,000. So I went in complaining, and they knocked it back down to $18,000.
There you go. There you go.
Well, here I got my taxes, and my tax rate last year was $18,630 for the assessed value of it, right? And this year it went up to $47,930.
Huh.
Well, guess what? My mobile home is 47 years old, and I moved here in '93.
Huh. 30 years later, okay.
90 just happened to appear on my tax bill, just out of the blue.
Yeah, what are the odds? Huh.
What are the odds? And have you heard today that the Pentagon grounded the fleet of Ospreys?
I did not.
The CV-22, which is, of course, another 74, but it's had a horrendous track record of crashing. And in the last week over in Japan, CV-22 carrying 8 airmen went down, and they admitted today that it was a material failure that caused the crash. Well, if you look at the history of these aircraft, it's been very despicable indeed. This has been a vehicle of death for a long time, what they call these tilt rotor aircraft. It takes off like a helicopter, and then it rotates the engines over, and it's a aircraft. So they can get more speed out of level flight.
I see.
It reminded me of my airman days. Back in 1981, I was a basic airman, and I was stationed to a base in California called Castle Air Force Base, which was established in 1947. And on 11/29 in 1981, a B-52 came in with a brand new pilot at the yoke, and they said he locked up the brakes. Well, when you lock up the brakes on a B-52, well, you've got all kinds of sparks right next to magnesium, and when magnesium starts burning, it's not done burning until there's no more magnesium to burn. It burned a hole into the flight line 30 feet deep, 33 feet deep on 11/29/1981. And as I watched it burn, it just wouldn't burn. It wouldn't burn. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop. It was like watching hell. come out of the ground. It was just amazing that it would just not stop. It's like hell opened up and swallowed the aircraft. And it was 42 years ago. Just last week. It really fresh in my mind this week.
Sure.
And when you add up the numbers, 11 and 29, and I just, it's really just another ritual, like you speak of again and again and again, just another ritual. And these people are insatiable. They truly are. And since we haven't talked in a long, long time, I just want to remind you that back when COVID first started, when Mr. Trump was doing his daily briefings on March 22nd, 2020, he had a briefing with Anthony Fauci, and they started talking, and about 13 minutes into the conversation, one of the reporters asked Trump about the VA and what they were going to do about COVID. And he said, well, the VA's really got a track record of sadism. They're very sadistic, is what he called them. And I can certainly attest to the sadistic nature of the VA myself. They've been very brutal to me personally. And I've been living on $165 a month for, well, it began at $144 a month, and then they raised it to $152 a month, and then they raised it to $165 a month to live on.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
Well, that's why I said I've been enduring life, not thriving in life. It's just a track record of very sadistic people. And when I think of very sadistic people, I think of Caesar and Caligula, or Nero, and what their track records were. And then you go back and you look at who was in charge, who was Caesar at the time of the destruction of the Second Temple. And that was Titus Flavius. And you need to look up him in Wikipedia and look at his birth date and his death date and his dad. Well, when you really look at Titus Flavius and his capture of Josephus and how these people can capture and control words and numbers, and you start looking at the Bible, and that led me to a fellow named Joseph Atwill. He wrote a book called Caesar's Messiah, and he outlines the whole story of how this creature, Jesus, was created by the book Wars of the Jews, written by Josephus, and how all these interlinking stories from the New Testament are really just a series of stories about Titus. It's a very explicit, and it lays it all out very completely. It's really something you need to look into. What you're calling Jesuits are really what I call Flavians or Josephus.
Okay, yeah, the Flavians.
And this, you put it together with Joseph Biden and how his story goes together with Joseph, the man of the coat of many colors, who went into Egypt and was appointed basically president. And he went out and declared a famine to be coming. So we had to collect all the grain and put everybody into famine. And at the end of the story of the day, people were trading their homes and their property for a little bit of grain to eat. So they ended up with nothing. And it was all for a lie, for a dream interpretation. It's just really sick, but this Titus Flavius and Josephus are the true inventors of what you are calling Jesuits. It really does go back to Titus. It really does. When I see somebody wearing a cross around their neck, I call it the dagger of Titus, because it's really just a knife pointing down into your chest. Just like the story of Jesus being speared in his chest. It's really something you need to look into. Something that has really affected me personally with my history of being raped by a priest, and how he was calling out the name Jesus as he was doing it. That's how sick these bastards truly are.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, this is very interesting and does make a lot of sense. And again, the Jesuits are taking on things that came before them. So no doubt this is part of the history that's led to this moment we're now living in. But yeah, great to hear your voice and great information.
Well, when you're talking about music, musicians dying, there's another death in the music world recently too. I've got all these other thoughts running around my head, but he just died yesterday or the day before. If you were looking at deaths of 2023, like you
The
referred to,
Moody Blues founder and Paul.
no, a different one.
Another one, huh? Huh.
Yeah, not the Tom Petty thing either, but there's another one, and it just escapes my mind right now.
We got a commercial break. We'll be right back, everybody. Sit tight.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
This is a major challenge. This is a major challenge.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
Here, the people rule.
We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. We have so many, we had such a big night, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we won them by. You just take a look at all of these things that we've won tonight.
We, the people, will not be silenced. We, the people, will not be bullied. We, the people, will not surrender. We'll come together. We have to stop treating our opponents as enemies.
They can't catch us. They can't catch us.
And now, every vote must be counted.
They can't catch us. They can't catch us.
When the count is finished, we will be the winners.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
This is a major challenge. This is a major challenge.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
Here, the people rule. Every vote must be counted. I'm not here to declare that we've won.
We were getting ready to win this election.
Every vote must be counted. We will be the winners.
We were getting ready for a big celebration.
It'll be time for us to do what we've always done, put the campaign behind us, lower the temperature.
These aren't even close. It's not like, what happened? And then they said, they can't catch us. They can't catch us.
And now, every vote must be counted.
They can't catch us. They can't catch us.
When the count is finished, we will be the winners.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
No one's going to take our democracy away from us.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
Not now.
Tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR.
Media.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Okay, I'm going to hope the sound is actually over with. Again, I don't want to talk over the sound. It doesn't come through clearly when we're streaming on YouTube, but if you're listening on TFR, sometimes I'm accidentally talking over the sound because we can't hear it. Let me see. Did we lose the caller from Oregon? No, he is still there. He got cut off by the break. We haven't heard from him for a while, but used to be a very regular caller, and people were asking in the chat, is it true that he carved what is 47 in his truck? Yes, it is absolutely true. And to date, it's still the most dedicated way of getting out the question, what is 47? But Oregon, you're still on. There's several more people who'd like to get on the line, but it is great to hear from you. Did you have any more thoughts tonight before you finished?
No, not right off, but I really wanted to let you know that it's your knowledge that has kept me alive through losing my internet and many other things, and having to deal with a death in the family and another death in the family and another death in the family and the death of a close friend and all these other traumatic events that have happened in the last 10 years. It's the knowledge of gematria that has really kept my sanity within my grasp and not the grasp of somebody else.
We have that in common.
It's really beyond comprehension how this knowledge has let me see through so many of the deceptions that I've had to go through, and so many other people have been part of in my life. I was a member of what they call the Elks Club.
Sure.
And 11 o'clock at night, they would do a toast to 11, 11, 11. But they would swear up and down they were not Freemasons.
Sure.
And it just, so many things have happened. I was born in the 49th state, and I'm in the 33rd state at the end of my life.
From Alaska to Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah, from Alaska to Oregon. And it's just incredible how these connections can be made once you know the numbers, once you know the letters, and once you know how this world has been literally created by the letters and the numbers that you've spoken out on. I would love to get a copy of your second book. I've been offline and dirt poor for so long. I've only been online again and had a phone in my hand since August. So it's just recently I've been able to catch up with you at all.
If you want to send me your mailing address, I can have a book sent to you.
Well, I don't have an email. I don't do email anymore, Zach. I just can't do that. And without email, I can't. You can't register, you can't post, you can't do anything really without an email. And I just don't want to go there again. I live in the center of Oregon in the county of Crook.
Huh.
And it's a host of Facebook, the Book of Faces.
Sure.
The amount of evil I feel coming from that building, that server farm that they just keep building onto is just tremendous. It reminds me of Mordor. As a big fan of the book The Hobbit and what Bilbo went through on his journey and back home, it's remarkable how I didn't see the connections until I was an old man. But J.R.R. Tolkien was a Catholic.
Sure.
And he told many stories right out of the Bible, right into that book.
Yeah.
But good luck, man.
Yeah. Do you want to, somehow we got to get in contact because I'd like to send you a book. You know what? I'll give you a call tomorrow. Look for a 206 number to call you tomorrow.
Well, that would be awesome, man. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah. I will call you tomorrow at this 458 number you got. So.
Yeah, I'll be here, man.
Okay. Glad to know you're still doing well, and thanks for reaching out to us tonight.
Well, good luck to everybody out there. If you're listening to this broadcast, it's important. It's beyond important. It's about your life and the lives of everybody in this world. It really, really, really is. And like I said, that book, Caesar's Messiah by Joseph Atwill, it flat out ties it all together. It really, really does. I read the Bible 3 times in 21 days, cover to cover, and I thought I had a clue. But until I read Caesar's Messiah, I had no idea. I really didn't. That's how decisive that book is. And it was written in 2006, and it gets no credibility outside anybody else. I really implore anybody that believes in the fable of Jesus to look into Titus and to look into that book, Caesar's Messiah. And it's a PDF. You can just download it and read it. And it's not difficult to read. And it just lays it right out. And when you think about a coat of many colors, well, that's just camouflage. He's a master of camouflage, this Joseph, just like Joseph R. Biden, just a master of camouflage. And just like in the Jesuit oath, when you're amongst the Jews, you're a Jew. When you're amongst the Muslims, you're Muslim. When you're amongst the Christians, you're a Christian. And that's what camouflage is all about, right?
Indeed. Just by the way, about it being about this period, I know that you're already right, because I was just saying this. It goes back to the destruction of the Second Temple in the year 70 AD. That's why they declared that war in Israel October 8th, 70 days before the Pope's birthday. Again, Temple Mount is part of the, people anticipate that it'll be destroyed, and then they'll put the third temple there. But the second temple was destroyed in the year 70 AD, which is what you're saying this all goes back to. And I know that's true, so I'm gonna have to read Caesar's Messiah. Appreciate the recommendation.
Yeah, when you look at Titus and you look at Jesus, Jesus was born a son of man and became a son of God, right? Well, so did Titus. Titus, when he became Caesar, he had his father deified as a god, so he became a son of a god. Well, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Just like Caligula deifying a jackass or whatever the hell he had. I can't remember what it was, but it's all in there. The churches that are run today are all churches of Gideon. Gideon, the man who threw down his father's Ashtaroth, destroyed Ashtaroth's statue, and his father said, well, the statue, if it was truly God, he could have defended himself. Well, it's very, very deep, and there's other people waiting, like you said, and I just wanted to call in for the first time in years and say hello and thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. And again, I'm glad you're still out there. I'd often thought about you because you didn't call in all of a sudden, but I'm glad to hear you're doing well.
Well, I'm not doing well, but I'm still here.
That's what I mean.
And
you're here.
Well, I'm still enduring, and I'm still gaining knowledge thanks to you.
Well, and the other research you're doing. Yeah, I appreciate this recommendation. I'm going to look into this book. Thank you.
You betcha.
All right.
Good luck to everybody out there listening.
Indeed.
We're going to need as luck and perseverance as anybody can muster. Things are going to get dark.
Yeah, I agree. All right, friend, we'll stay strong. Appreciate you calling in.
All right.
You take care.
I appreciate you. Take care.
You have a good night. Okay, good to know that gentleman's still out there. Yeah, for all the people who used to call in who don't call anymore, call in sometime. I always wonder what happened to... where is everyone? He's still there. 502, Louisville.
Hey, Zach. Thank you for taking my call. Let me get you off of mute. Got a few things going here. I'm here in Kentucky, and today the governor, along with the mayor, they got together, and it's 150 days before the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby today. And they got together and they put a time capsule in the Kentucky Derby Museum, which is at Churchill.
Interesting.
And it was really nice to hear from our friend again. It's been eons since I've heard his voice.
Sure.
What a really fascinating, cool character he is. The reason for my call is this. Obviously, LeBron James is a full-blown idiot. He's got a GED at best. I just don't see him sitting around in a room coming up with these numbers and these rituals. Do you think there's people behind him that like do this kind of stuff for them?
Well, that's what we've always thought. We've never thought. Hold on. we've never once thought that it was LeBron James or any of these players doing the scripting. They're the actors. It's
No, you've never said that.
Yeah,
you've never said that.
no,
but do you
it's
think
not.
that
Yeah,
these people,
it's the it's probably even above the level of the
The
Adam
handlers?
Stearns and David Silvers, but it's no secret who runs the NBA, just like how the Adelsons just took over the Mavericks, which own all the Jewish family that owns all the casinos. Again, gematria is a Jewish practice, and it's obvious who runs the world of entertainment. So
obviously. Okay, I just wanted your thoughts on that. Thank you for taking my call. Have a wonderful evening.
all right, appreciate it. You have a good night.
Thank you.
Let's go out to Evan. Oh, wait, Evan, sorry, I hit the wrong. Well, we're going out to New Hampshire first, and then we'll go to Evan. New Hampshire? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
You're on.
I'm on. Whoa, okay. I didn't know that. Geez, first of all, definitely not prepared. And so I tried to take calls, so please be gentle. I tried to take notes and listen to the calls. And I think that's really sad that somebody, the gentleman from Oregon who bravely walked in to the virtual chat, not crawled, spoke about being raped, and that was so matter-of-factly. It breaks my heart that how the seniors are treated nowadays. So we understand that after, the COVID, what was happening was they were being, and I hope that it's just so aggravating to me that this is still going on after 4 years. So let me first say that I appreciate you so very much, because I think that the word is getting out, and it has a lot to do with you. And I wish you didn't let your detractors get the best of you, because they are trash and they are agents more than likely. So with everybody that's listening right now, and I know that this is usually like a betting channel, right, on sports and stuff, even though that's rituals and stuff, people are very lucky and grateful to be listening to you right now. Not me, you. So I just want to say thank you to the last caller who, who's struggling. I just want to make sure he knows that I was listening to him and I learned a lot from him, and that's what is lost on the younger generation. It's wisdom. And I just want to say, I just want to say this for all my brave friends. I am getting to learn gematria. So I just want to say, for all my brave friends that are dead now, I feel like I was pulled to call you, which is very intimidating. It's just intimidating, because the way you pull out gematria and the way you speak and the way you talk about it, like boom, 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 is intimidating, but amazing. And I say that, I don't say that till I cater to your ego or anything like that. I just think it's amazing what you have stored in your head for 11 years. And you stood out, and you were blanketed as the black sheep. And now, you have risen, and you are a truth seeker. You are the real deal. And I don't know you, you don't know me, you didn't pay me to say that. So I've just been listening to you for a couple months. And so I'm just going to move on to what somebody said regarding voice to skull and what happens to whistleblowers, because it's no joke. So I want to speak really briefly. I'm going to try to do this. For my friends that were whistleblowers, that did the right thing, and they were taken out. And they were taken out for being whistleblowers. And they succumbed to occupational hazards that they tried to speak out about. And they were in the federal government. And they tried to speak out against what was happening to other people And man, I just don't want to cry because I get that the chat sees that as a weakness and people see it as a weakness. And now it's, I get that MK Ultra has never ended. They put MK Ultra, they brainwashed so many people, and they depleted the younger generation of their empathy. Empathy is what they were after. So if people say, well, I'm a badass, a millennial, badass Gen Z, badass whatever. I mean, I'm an old lady right now. I feel like I'm an old lady being Generation X. But I feel like we still have something to say, especially those who have been through so many adversities. So the people can make fun of us all they want in the chat, like, shut up, F you, blah, blah, blah. Well, you succumb to MK Ultra. You succumb to the government's MK Ultra program to have us all hating one another, all hating and making fun of each other like it's a game. And here we are in the New World Order. Here we are making fun of each other and the lack of empathy that we all have for one another and one another's suffering. And that's no joke. MK Ultra is real. And if you don't think you're under an MK Ultra spell, think about all those have been jacksinated. Not vaccinated, jacksinated. Because there was so much shit in the vaccine, it wasn't even funny. And it still keeps me up at night, what's in that. So, so it's no joke. So I'm going to move on. So speaking for a friend.
Just real quick.
For a friend quick.
Just real quick, I just want to interject. Well, my mom, she still cleans homes, and one of her clients, her son is a teenager, he's 17, and his girlfriend, who's also 17, just dropped dead the other day. Just died, a 17-year-old girl, and right now it's kind of like the doctors don't know what to say, but again, I mean, it's just like, it's not happening to everybody, but it's obvious there's been so many stories like this in the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, what else could it possibly be? What else happened in the world that all of a sudden that this is happening to young people, just dropping dead out of nowhere? I'd never heard about this in my life. And I think that's true for all of us. But that's what's so maddening, is that we can't even talk about these things or question them in the modern day town squares, which is online. We have to speak in code and beat around the bush, but people can still follow. But it's just so sad that the authorities have made it so that you cannot even talk about these things. And but before long, it'll be the destruction of your social credit score for not following the rules. But yeah, that's just a story from my neck of the woods. And it's just amazing. A 17-year-old girl just drops dead. But please, go ahead.
And what did they do with that, right? So part of the MK Ultra program that everybody, so many people are in and don't even know it. So many people. And I do think that you remained out of the MK Ultra program. And I seriously don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it. But I know that with that situation, so many people are in denial. And the reason why they're in denial is because they got jacksinated, right? And then they had their children jacksinated. And then they heard their grandchildren jacksinated, right? And so, and again, jacksinated is because it's so much shit as that. Hydrogel, graphene oxide, we know, right? We know, it's just, it's not a coincidence that so many people, so many young adults, so many children are dying. And they wanted to numb us, this mainstream media that is the virus, like BBC and NPR and all that bullshit, CBS, ABC, all that virus, all that stage 4 cancer that we grew up on. I know I grew up on that when my parents used to watch it. So it's all these generational curses that we are trying to break. And then they have the younger generation that are trying to make fun, right? They've been so MK Ultra'd to make fun of all like disabilities, and right, because Trump made that cool to make fun of disabilities, right? Because it's a weakness to have a disability, right? I mean that's nuts. So I mean it's just like it's just been people are so scared to speak out because they fear judgment. They fear judgment. So with that being said, You know, a 17-year-old dying, all the deaths that I've seen around me is insane. And they're trying to normalize it. And the people that have vaccinated their children and their grandchildren, they're doubling down on denial. Because how can you even live with yourself when you took an experimental jab, when you trusted this government? You trusted the government, and you took an experimental jab, and now you're listening on, you know, covert operations, you know, these agents like Jimmy Dore and all that crap. And what is the other one? There's so many of these agents. Like, there's so many, Joe Rogan, all that bullshit. All these agents that are Freemasons themselves, supposedly, right? And everybody's listening to them and hanging on to these supposed agents like Robert Malone. Like, these guys are going to save us, right? They're out. They're there with the truth for us, right? How long has it been? 4 years, and now we're going into 15-minute cities. We're going into, mandatory. May 2024 is when the WHO is going to, people need to look into the World Health Organization and what they plan on doing May 2024, because it affects everyone. So this is what I just want to say, because I want to speak for my friends that are now dead. So there are no whistleblower protections. And I speak from 10 years ago. There are no whistleblower protections. George W. Bush administration. They didn't know at the time, but it was all a lie. And then when you went up the chain of command and you tried to expose the corruption, this is what happened. You ended up as either dead, a targeted individual, that other person was right, voice to skull is used upon you, and people can download Brave browser and learn about targeted individuals and voice to skull, because the next person who ignores it and turns away and thinks it's nothing, it might be you. So they want you to kill yourself as well if you become a whistleblower. They drive you to kill yourself. That's the game. And there are agents, and I'll make this brief, Zach, because I don't want to talk on and on, but there are agents that are pretending to be truth seekers. And this is where you can find them. You can find these agents that are pretending to be the greater good, the quote-unquote truth seekers for the last 4 years, because I bought into that shit. I was in their echo chamber, and then I evolved out of their echo chamber when they started.
Oh, hold on. We got another commercial break. Sit tight. We'll finish up after the break. We'll be right back, everybody.
To respond, to deserve, not to need. On this planet, it doesn't read, if you need, you will reap. No, it reads, if you plant, you will reap. You say, well, I really need to reap. Then you really need to plant. Life wasn't designed for the needers. Life was designed for the planters. Life doesn't respond to what we need. Life responds to what we deserve by activity, belief, faith, action, movement. You gotta take a step. So one of the things to make clear when you're bringing somebody on board is say, Mary, if you step, we do these things. If you take 3 steps, we go this, this, and this, and this. And if you do this, we do all of this. But if you don't move, we don't move. It's very important to make it clear. Why? Because everybody needs to pay. Everybody needs to pay. Even if the payment is only token, it has to be paid. Because life responds to deserve, not need.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state. Manifest new and exciting experiences. Re-energize your life. and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And what the heck is that watch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Spirituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I'm Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Okay, I'm going to assume the music is done. Let's get back out to the caller, and we'll try to get as many calls in. We got 30 minutes of show left, but 6:03, you got interrupted. You're back on, friend.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Zach. And I just want to make sure I say this because I know that there's a lot of agents that are, that are paid to hate you and hate on you. And it's very prevalent and it's obvious to me. I don't know how obvious it is to other people, but I've been in this fight for a long time. So I just want to say, I just want to begin where I just about the agents and how these agents are so prevalent and how dangerous they are. And besides, the millennials and the Generation Z have been brainwashed to be desensitized and lack of empathy from our media, our beautiful media that lies, and also the government. So these agents, let me just speak to this real quick. I'll try to make this under 5 minutes. You can find these agents. So they have pretended to be the greater good. So they're the supposed truth seekers for the last 4 years. But they are agents, Freemasons, Illuminati, Zionists, and also sons and daughters of these jackals. And they're riddled. They're riddled all over Facebook, right? Isn't it obvious? The baby boomer book. Facebook, fake book, and then the global CB radio apps. And let me name some of them. It's called Clubhouse, okay? And True Seekers Tavern, Preservation of the Human Race, and Stereo app too. These admins and these mods, they're agents, period. And people can trust but verify that themselves. Moving on. So they're always the admins. They're the gatekeepers. They're the moderators of these clubs. They're the gatekeepers. Their role is to come off like truth seekers. But they are pushing Trump, right? Trump, the Freemason Trump, and RFK Jr. We know what RFK Jr. is about. He's not the white knight, right? Trying to get the vaccine, the truth about the vaccine. All that was bullshit. Because these admins and these mods on the Clubhouse app that are in the Preservation of the Human Race, the True Seekers Tavern, they are agents, period. So now, just wanted to expose them. So also, let's expose the Fauci. So Fauci is a Jesuit. Bill Gates is a Jesuit. Gavin Newsom is a Jesuit. Biden is a Jesuit. Trump is a Jesuit. Jesuits stick together. RFK Jr., the supposed white knight. Let's remember what he's about. Illuminati. Check out the bloodline. So with this, I'm going to end. So with all the, people would say with all this suffering that's happening, with people that are so many people that are suffering, like your last caller in Oregon, who very much to me sounds like a hero, a very humble hero. And he thinks he's an old man, and he talks about his service, and he's living in a mobile home and what they're doing to him. That man is a hero, and he just did a testimony, and that testimony was a gift to the younger generation. So hopefully the younger generation, like millennials and Generation Z, and not all of them, but hopefully they'll see that that was wisdom that was just showered upon them as a gift. So suffering, what they want you to think about suffering and people that are suffering and disabled, they want you to think they're, quote unquote, playing the victim, and they're looking for sympathy. It's just all bullshit. They want to desensitize people, period. Desensitize people. So you'll hear the spells, because words are spells, like Zach. Words are spells at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day. How many times do we hear that spell at the end of the day? That phrase is a spell at the end of the day. So the people that are on Clubhouse and all that, and their admins and mods, they are very aware of occult knowledge. Why are they aware of occult knowledge? Because they are in it. And they are not the truth seekers. They are not the heroes. They are not the white knights. They are the darkness. They are the darkness. And anybody can examine this. Again, go on to Clubhouse. I was on there for 4 years. And with the admins of Preservation of the Human Race and the Truth Seekers Tavern, they are the darkness. They are the ones that are spreading the lies, and they are the agents. And I think a lot of people were depending on this. These rooms had hundreds and hundreds of people 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Their little pack, because their little pack is the agents. Only the agents are there. So I just want to make sure, I just want to make sure I thank you, because my friends that did I want to make sure they didn't die in vain, because they were brave, courageous whistleblowers. And they're out there, the brave, courageous, the real ones. And unfortunately, they're dead. A lot of them are dead. And a lot of them are targeted individuals. And you know what? William Cooper tried to expose this in Behold the Pale Horse, his book that he narrates. He tried to expose this 25 years ago. And he ended up with 8 bullets. He's the real hero. And also people like you. So that's all I got to say, and thank you I really appreciate that you gave me this time, Zach.
Well, you're welcome. I really appreciate your call. Great call. Thank you. Sorry for your loss.
All right, take care.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Take care. And personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with crying. I mean, sometimes it's appropriate. 408, you're on.
All right. It's actually interesting. My uncle and aunt both live in New Hampshire right now, and I haven't visited them in a few years. So that when you said that previous caller was from New Hampshire, it reminded me that I need to go make a trip out there sometime soon. But anyways, we had a big trade in baseball today with Juan Soto being traded from the Padres to the Yankees. And it was 1 month and 11 days after his birthday. Like I said, New York 111. Today leaves 25 days left in the year. Juan Soto equals 25, and he's 25 years old right now.
Perfect.
And that other caller in Oregon was talking a lot about 47. His name also equals 47. The Padres are named after the Spanish colonizers, the Franciscan friars who founded the California missions. And the mission in San Diego is the first, technically it's the second mission, but it's the first mission in what is now the American part of California. So the first mission was in the Mexican part of California. But anyways, the San Diego Padres equals 79. New York Yankees 191 and 87. Those are all Society of Jesus numbers. San Diego CA equals 78 and 42, like Jesuit. He was traded from San Diego 42 days after his birthday. As I said, the first California mission in San Diego, its full name is Mission Basilica San Diego de Alcala, which equals 201. And it was founded in 1769, like Jesuit order equals 69. And the Padres' first MLB season was in 1969. Now, I do want to talk about one of the players that was traded the other way from the Yankees to the Padres, Drew Thorpe, who's a minor league pitcher. And the only reason why I know about him is because he went to Cal Poly, where I went, and I saw him pitch in college a couple of times. I've been kind of keeping track of him the last couple of years. And San Luis Obispo, where that college is, equals 171, which is the 18th triangular number, like IHS. And that city also has a mission, which was founded in 1772. I think it's Jesuit order, or the Jesuit order equals 72. And Drew Thorpe was drafted 61st overall, which is the 18th prime, like IHS 18 again. And his real name, Andrew Thorpe, equals 177 and 66. So the Jesuit order, and it's also 66 days after his birthday. And he was born on October 1st, 10/1. And Juan Soto equals 101. And 101 is the 26th prime. And today's the 26th to last day of the year. So just more Jesuit news by Jesuit numbers. And adding on to that, yesterday there's in a hockey game between the Sharks and the Islanders. The Sharks have this guy, William Eklund, and basically everything he does is a Jesuit ritual, I've noticed. I won't go into the details because that would take too long, but basically he scored the game-winning goal in overtime to win the game 5-4 with 5.4 seconds left, 54 days after his birthday.
Huh. Yeah, great decodes. Good catches.
Nice. And then also, I noticed in regards to the Vegas shooting, something that I've kind of noticed ever since coming across this work is it seems like there's always an inverse relationship between how good the sports teams are in a city and how good of a place it is to live there. And people in Vegas might say it is a good place to live there, but I mean, you've had now 2 mass shootings there in recent history. And with the Knights just won the Stanley Cup, the Aces just won the WNBA for the second time in back-to-back years. They're about to host the Super Bowl, and the A's are going to be coming there soon. And yeah, now they've had a couple of shootings in recent years. But I noticed the Knights, the Golden Knights, came into today with 37 points, and shooting is 37. And they're winning right now late in the game. So assuming they'll win, they get to 39 points, and UNLV equals 39.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, that's all I've got. I'll let the other callers wrap it up. Thanks.
All right, appreciate it, Evan. You have a good night. About San Diego and sports, don't forget their owner died this year on the day of the owners meeting in Arlington right after the World Series was decided. And then, of course, you can go back to 1984, the Orwellian year. You had the Padres World Series year perfectly synced with the McDonald's massacre on July 18th, which came 187 days from the death of Ray Kroc. And again, just sports and news and tragedy. This is a long, ongoing pattern that we've been talking about for many years. Let's go out to Seattle, 206.
Here I am in Edmonds. What's up?
How you doing?
What's up, my brother? Good. Hey, so you're probably too young. You remember the UNLV Running Rebels?
Yeah.
Remember when they won the NCAA tournament?
It was J.R. Ryder on that team? J.R. Ryder?
No, that was Larry Johnson. Was
Larry
the big
Johnson.
Star.
Yeah, that's right.
Stacey Ogman
Yeah.
and Mark Anthony. I think Mark Anthony ended his career here for the Sonics. I think he played at the end of his career here. Anyway, it was Larry Johnson. But I was looking into it, and So Jerry Tarkanian, you remember him?
The coach,
You
yeah.
ever hear
I have a
of
post
Jerry
on his
Tarkanian?
death. Yeah, he died in the time I've been doing this work.
Tark the Shark, yeah, he died in 2015, okay? On a date numerology of 48, 28, and 12. But 48 is significant because they beat Duke in the 1990 NCAA tournament, okay? They beat Duke. And beat Duke equals 48, and he died on a numerology of 48, okay? And I think there's another 48 here. Oh, Tark the Shark.
Look at this.
So that's a bigger.
I pull up the
big
old
Illuminati
post.
number.
I pull up the old post on Tarkanian, and it shows how he had 729 wins and 201 career losses. And he did also coach at Xavier, the Jesuit school. Yeah. I'm pulling up my 2015 post here, and I the only thing I knew about 201 back then is how it broke down to 3. But
I think they changed the Wikipedia because I was looking on the Wikipedia and it said he had 700. He was 706 and 198. That's what I got off the Wikipedia just a few minutes ago. So I don't know, man. And the funny thing about that is because 706 minus 198 equals 508 net, right? Like 58. Like the year that the program was founded in 58.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Interesting, yeah.
Can you look it up? Can you look up the current? Because that's the numbers. I don't know. Was that regular? Maybe it wasn't including.
Here's where we'll go. We'll go to College Basketball Reference. They'll have it right.
Okay, it might not be including like the tournament. It might be as regular season wins and losses.
You know what's funny is
Correct.
College Basketball Reference has them on 761 wins and 202 losses.
Oh shit. Okay, so I don't know what the number I found was. It must have been regular season. It must have been It must have been minus the championship. Anyway, so he went to 4 Final Fours, which is pretty interesting, right? 4 Final Fours. It sounds like 44, doesn't it?
Sure. His
name. Final Four equals 40.
His name Tarkanian. Tarkanian has the 44 connection.
And from the date that they won the championship, April 2nd, 1992, today's date, is 404 months, 5 days. But, 404, there you go with that again.
That's how many, correct? That's how many verses are in Revelation, 404, and they're doing that whole 666 thing with this as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and I saw something. What did you say is the 13th? Wait, what's the 13th triangular?
91.
Yeah, so connecting Tarkanian, and also he's born in, I know you like the Euclid, what is it? The
47th problem of Euclid.
Yeah, the 47th problem of Euclid. He was born in Euclid, Ohio.
Okay.
And Euclid equals 54.
Yeah.
And so Larry Johnson, right now, guess what age he is?
54?
He's 54 right now.
Yeah.
And do you remember he did like this caricature, like a cross-dressing, right? He had this trans character that was he was on like a movie or something. It was called Grandmama. I think he did it in a couple Nike commercials too.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, we were talking about that recently.
Well, guess what Grandmama equals? 54.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. And so also it was 404 months after their championship NCAA tournament championship. So Larry Johnson's birth numerology is 33 as well. He has a big fat 33 in his birth numerology. And you were talking about 67 blood sacrifice and human sacrifice. He's 6'7", right? Did you know that 67 equals 2.01 meters, like 201?
Huh, interesting.
I thought that was interesting too.
His birthday is, of course, Pi Day. It's also the death anniversary of Walter Camp. Huh.
Oh, 314, yeah. So, and then 69, there's like 69 connections. Tark the Shark equals 69. We got another one here. Something. Oh, beat Duke equals 69. Okay, so Tarkanian died in 2015, and it said in the Wikipedia of Larry Johnson that he had 5 children from 4 women, which is kind of like a 54 as well, right? 5 children from 4 women, and then in 2015 he had to file bankruptcy because he owed $120,000 in child support. I thought that was interesting. The 120 and Tark the Shark. You're still there. Somebody's calling me. Tark the Shark equals 120 as well. So Tarkanian's 35. Oh, and from Maryland, right? Maryland. Tarkanian equals 89, like Virgin Mary's birthday. From his death date to today's date, 8 years, 9 months, 26 days. You know what I'm saying? At the 89. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Anyway, yeah, Maryland, 89. And then Maryland equals 47, like Euclid, like the problem of Euclid or whatever that is. And so, yeah, man, I mean, just taking a cursory look at it. Las Vegas, 86. I think there's an 86 on there too. Anyway, do you see anything else in there, man? I mean, it's rife, but it seems to be like a connection with Tarkanian, UNLV. I mean, it's definitely connected to what's going on today with the shooting. It seems to me, you know.
Again, the basketball team was established in 58, and 58's all over the shooting, even telling us that they were setting up Legos, and now not only does Legos equal 58, but somebody found out that the guy who created Legos died in the year 58, so that's why they had to throw that in today's story.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Trip out. Oh, and he coached for 19 years also, like 67 to 19 prime. He was there from 73 to 92, which is 19 years. So it just seems like, you know, they're set in place for, you know, like you said, their birth dates, their gematria, what their names add up to, and Tark the Shark. And he's the one that invented the Runnin' Rebels. You know, they're called the UNLV Runnin' Rebels.
Right.
Yeah. I think they were just the Rebels before that.
Yeah.
And there's 61 Rebels, 61.
Well, again, Runnin' Rebels, 74 months after the Vegas shooting. Eric, I'm going to let a few more people get in before we're out of show, but great research. I appreciate it.
All right, man.
All right, take care.
All right, man. I'll talk to you next time.
Have a good night. Here, we got a caller from Nevada. I want to let them get on. Nevada, you're on.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up? So I'm actually a student from UNLV right now. I'm in my junior year of studying finance, and I've been Googling and looking up stuff just today after the shooting. So I looked up my president, whose name is Keith Eric Whitefield. Keith Eric Whitefield in Buenos Aires is 103, which is like Jesuits.
Yeah.
And then I looked up certain stuff because we look our football team. You haven't mentioned the football team, and I started looking that up. So
his birthday is this guy was appointed on August 24th, 2020. That's the first Kobe Bryant day after Kobe's death.
Yeah, I actually donated that. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
But that's Ohio game. We lost in the Rose Bowl to Boise State, Idaho. And their team, BSU is 88-39. And this guy was a psychologist for many years. Psychologist 57, likes vaccine and a bunch of other stuff. Kill also 88. Sorry, I just got it right now. I was just writing stuff down. But one thing I found interesting is that he wrote a book. This last published book that he wrote as a psychologist was called The Handbook of Minority Aging, because a lot of his work was about, I guess, Black people and aging and healthy aging and stress among African Americans. That book, let's see right now.
While you're looking that up, Caleb points out that he's the 11th president of UNLV, the first black, and of course in Gematria, black equals 11.
Yeah, and Handbook Monday is 117.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. And and I actually looked up because the connection to the Boys State mall shooting that happened in 2021.
The Ball State shooting? Yeah, I think I recall that.
Yeah. So that shooting happened 25 months earlier for 110 weeks. And I was looking at other shootings and things that happened in Boys State. There's also that stabbing that happened this year.
Okay.
That connects to 51, 57, 183. We lost the Boys State 440 to 20 actually. And the perpetrator, his name, Brian Kohlberg, his name matches completely with Keith Whitefield.
Huh. Interesting.
If you actually, yeah.
Okay. Appreciate that research. Since you're on campus, did you hear anything when the shooting supposedly occurred?
You're on campus.
What do you say?
Did you hear the shooting? Were you on campus when it went down? They're saying it happened at 11:45 when the hands were on the 11 and the 9. Did you hear anything today?
I actually was talking to my friends about that, and they said, yeah, there was shooting, but I had already left. I was going to go to the gym, but I didn't make it there. Something else I forgot to mention, he tried to make a AI program to monitor or be access to students 24/7, and the company that made it, called AI Foundation, was called AI Foundation, matched to 57, for psychologists and vaccine and all that stuff.
Sure. Okay. Well, I appreciate you phoning in. We're about to run out of show. It's about to go right into the commercial. But thank you.
I got you.
Appreciate it, man.
All right.
All right. You have a good night. Take care.
Everyone.
All right, True Seeker. Sorry to everyone on hold who I didn't get to. We did run out of show. And of course, we'll be back next Wednesday. Have a good evening, True Seeker. All right, the TFR part of the show is over, and probably not going to go too much over. I need to get a good rest tonight. Everybody and their mom is sick up here right now. It's just like everywhere you go, everyone is sick and coughing and hacking up a lung, and feels like society's never been less healthy. And I bet, I'm on a long streak right now without getting sick, but I do feel like I have a little tickle in my throat right now, so I want to make sure I get a good night's rest. I think I'll be good if I get sleep. Hold on, we got a DK Stonewood sighting first. We'll take a DK call, and then I think we'll wrap it up. What's up, DK?
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
Oh, another day in paradise.
How's the kettlebell workouts going? Did you get to the Turkish get-ups yet?
I have definitely not done the Turkish get up. That seems like that exercise looks ridiculous, to be perfectly honest. But one day I might. What do you think about that specific exercise? Do you think it's necessary?
Well, it's not necessary, but let's just put it this way: I was shocked when I was doing rehab for my shoulder, and the guy that was doing the physical therapist was a guy who was, like a friend of mine. He's like a couple years younger than me and works out all the time and is in shape. He did a Turkish get-up with, just picture the bar with one wheel on each side, 145-pound plate with the clips to hold them on, and just did it like that with one arm getting up. It's a really hard exercise, and it kind of humbles you if you think you're like in good shape and stuff, and you can't even do a Turkish get-up with like a 35-pound kettlebell. You're like, wait a minute, hold on a second, why am I not able to do this?
Okay.
So,
it looks really complicated.
It's a full body thing. Like it'll work on your core and like your hips and everything. if you do it correctly.
Okay. Yeah, I have not attempted that one yet, but I have seen that's a popular kettlebell exercise. Every time I see it, I'm just like, who came up with that? I mean, that is just like the most bizarre exercise move I've ever seen. So,
I guess the Turks came up with it since it's Turkish, right?
sure, you would imagine. Yeah.
That guy was saying Tark the Shark. What was the nickname of that team? You know how they had the Fab Five for Michigan? They had a nickname for that team, didn't they?
They might have. I forget.
Yeah, and then I think the guy said Mark Anthony, that was a singer. It's actually Greg Anthony.
I think I was about to correct. I was like, I think he means Greg Anthony, and he played for the Blazers for a minute too. So,
have you seen the picture of Joe Rogan and Anton LaVey's son hanging out?
No.
Yeah, that's kind of been going around the internet for people who still like listen to Joe Rogan, don't understand that he's controlled opposition. I wanted to ask you a few weeks ago, so has your mom changed her tune at all now that like her favorite guy RFK has come out massively supporting Israel? Has she changed her tune at all?
Oh no, she's full on for RFK Jr. So
she supports the Israel thing too then?
She doesn't hear that part of RFK. She goes, no, that's not really it. She just anything she doesn't want to hear about, she'll say something like that, and it's just like, yeah, but he is doing that. So it's that cognitive dissonance.
Stefan Molyneux and him and a few of the other people that were that are the controlled opposition that a few people are still hanging on to are have come out massively supporting Israel, just kind of shooting themselves in the foot as far as being part of the truth media. Have you seen the dissection of the videos for the Hamas attack and all that stuff? How it wasn't even, well, I mean, pretty much it looks like it just didn't ever happen at all. None of it. The paraglider thing is like from old video in Syria. The actual concert was like an old concert from a different city. It says like Live Nation in the back, and I forgot who they were saying performed there. Like it was like Kanye West or whatever. There was some water slide park in the background, and it's not even in the city they claimed or anything. And I really doubt. I don't think there was any attack. There's no hostages. I mean, those hostages, including Mia Shem, who's like the mascot for it, are probably from thispersondoesn'texist.com. And that what you were talking about, the monarch, having the butterfly. Yeah, that's obviously not for them if they're even real people. It's for us. They're just giving those of us who are awake a clue that this is just more mind control programming. And then, for those who don't know, it's just the symbol in their face, just like the white dove or any of these other, symbols that they use. But, yeah, I don't know if you've seen the people dissecting that video for the Hamas. I mean, I think the whole thing, I think there is a land grab going on. Maybe some Palestinians are being killed or whatever, but I think in general, the whole thing is a complete fraud. There's no war going on. There's nothing going on. I mean, when they had the Balkans war in Croatia, I was over there playing soccer at the time, and like I said before, we're like in the discos till like 4 or 5 in the morning, and right over the hill, which is probably a mile away, you can see sometimes like a mortar, light up the sky or whatever. But then, if you go there the next day, it's like there's nothing there. It's just there may be a mortar hole in the ground, but what are they? They're just putting on a fireworks show for the people in the town so they could think that there's like a war going on. And then in the daytime, sometimes they would roll the tanks through through the main street in the town, and you hear it because all the metal tracks on the street, it makes a loud noise echoing against the mountains there. So it's like, I mean, are these most of these wars just complete theater? I mean, that's what I'm
the
looking
theater
at.
of war. That's what I've been. Yeah, again, and it's like Russia, Ukraine too. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, well, did World War I and World War II really happen, or were those just land grabs where they show, maybe like on the outskirts of some town they drop a few bombs or whatever, so people think there's really a war? I mean, it's very possible. Like all these things that we've had throughout history have completely been hoaxed. And how many people they've actually killed may be very overstated as well, just to put fear into people.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. It's definitely in the realm of possibility. You see how we're lied to every day with no evidence for anything we're supposed to believe. So,
Yeah, I see in the chat somebody saying that they were born in Bosnia in '93 during the Balkan War, and family has a lot of war stories. I mean, yeah, a lot of people got war stories. You know, my cousin was actually like a, like a kind of what you would call like a special agent, like a spy. They would send him out allegedly behind enemy lines, and to spy out, enemy positioning. But how would he know? He's just, everybody was being pulled. He got pulled off his job to go into the military. That's what was kind of happening during that Balkan War over there. People were just, free willingly. No, everybody hates the military. There's conscription over there. So like when you turn 18, if you don't go to college or whatever, you got to go do a year. I think they shortened it now. It's like 10 months or something. You got to go do a year, and everybody hates it. And we have this typical thing when somebody's leaving, like the next day. Their cars are small in Europe, so in the town, like you'd have to take the bus, to go wherever it is you're going to go, to wherever you're being enlisted, to do your time, your year time. So it was kind of known, you go out and party that night before you go with your friends, and then you go to bed. Let's just say it's 3-4 in the morning. And then all your friends go out, and I've done it a few times with my friends. We pick up all the cars because it only takes probably 6 people to pick up a car, especially those small cars over there. And we pull all the cars into the middle of the street facing the wrong way and everything, so the bus couldn't leave. So it'd always be super late, and they'd miss their, connecting bus or connecting ferry or whatever it is. There was just like a tradition that we would do as people were going to the military, and nobody wanted to go. Everybody knew it was like total bullshit. It wasn't like a patriotic thing or anything like how it is over here. They're like, oh fuck, man, I gotta go. It's either go to college and waste my time or go to the military and waste my time. And that was, since I was a kid, that was the notion over there.
sure.
And then, I mean, it just, these countries are smaller, so it's a lot easier to see through the scams. When you're a big country like this, everything's so out of mind, out of sight for us. We're living on the television here, and over there, when it's like kind of right in front of you and your hands on more, it's like, wait a minute, hold on a second, what's actually really going on here? They don't get any real training on anything, to be honest, because you would think these guys are going to be getting prepared for war, and they were always, trying to scare us about these, the border war with like Serbia or whatever like that. And I mean, I'm asking my cousins and friends who went in, they're like, no, we didn't receive like really any training to do anything. It's
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. Just as soon as you brought up that it could all just be theater, there's instantly just somebody spamming in the chat that it's very real, and their avatar is their face with a slave muzzle on. They got their COVID mask on, and then they're even telling us to donate money through the Red Cross. It's just like, is this like I mean, it just seems unreal. Selena with her COVID mask, who's just so certain it's all so real. It just makes me wonder, like, how many things that are actually watching this video right now are some bot AI thing like Selena just waiting to hear certain words, and then out comes the triggered responses.
I mean, it could be one. It could be just one, FBI, CIA agent with a bunch of screen names. It could even be bots, like AI bots. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It's just, like that one caller was saying, everything's so disingenuous. The fake followers, the callers, the chat. I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's out of control, especially somebody like you who's on target, even though it's a niche market. I mean, they're just, they're trying to drown you out basically with all this crap. What's this David Archuleta? Wasn't that a singer from like one of those singing contests?
I don't know.
Yeah, people got to learn these names. You got like Jerry Tarkanian, good little fake Jew, just like Tarkanian, Kardashian, Ben Gurion. If people just knew these last names that these fake Jews use, it would be a lot easier. But they've kind of just been infiltrated into every country. They've changed their names a little bit. It's very similar to that guy, not George Lopez, but what was that recent guy in here that has like a Hispanic last name, but he's really just a fake Jew?
Oh, you're talking about the young kid. God, what is his name? I can't think of his name right now. Nick Fuentes.
Yes, exactly. No, not that. Well, that guy too. But there was another one that's like public office.
I can't think right now.
He's like I think he's a.
Oh, George Santos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like exactly like these guys, And I was talking to one of my neighbors, and they were saying how I'm pretty sure her dad's like in one of the same thing that Ole Damagard claims his parents are like in Gladio or whatever. It was like big over there in Sweden. And she was telling me how, her dad's like a typical CIA guy. And then they changed their name when they came over, to make it sound like, it's very similar to like Scarlett Johansson. They changing these names just slightly so they can't tell that they're actually not real Swedish people. They're like, fake Jew infiltrated Swedish people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't have any of my notes. I'm not at home, so I just figured I'd chime in with a couple things that have been kind of going on. Everything's kind of stagnant right now with this false flag. I feel like something's going on behind the scenes right now majorly because this has just flooded everything. So what's actually really going on,
Yeah. Well, they distract with this hand. The real event's going on over here. Nobody's even paying attention.
Hey, what do you make of this in-season tournament for the NBA where they're changing the court color to these like, from what I can see, better colors than they usually have? It makes it. I mean, for shooters, I like more different colors on the court because it makes the rim and everything stand out more when everything's all plain colored. It's not as it doesn't stick out as much. I personally like when the as soon as you get to the 3-point line, if it's a different color wood or even painted, that way you don't have to like look down at the line. You can see it out of the corner of your eye if you're close, so you could shoot from behind the line. What do you make of these in-season tournament? What do you think that's all for?
I don't know, but it's so gimmicky. It's ridiculous.
It's so bad, yeah.
It's the 78th NBA season, and NBA Finals equals 78. So I'm going to pay attention to who they have win this tournament, just in case it is a little preview of what's to come. But it's a joke.
Yeah. Shout out, Frank. I see you. What's up, man? All right, Zach. Well, thanks for taking the call.
All right.
I'm pretty much done.
Yeah. All right, DK. You have a good night, man.
Okay. Thanks. Bye bye. You too.
It was a good show, first of all. Shout out to all the callers. Thank you to Irene. Irene on the Cash App. She just sent $5. I appreciate that, Irene. Again, thank you to the super chatters tonight. Modoc Roughstock with the big 20 says, send our friend in Oregon a book. Absolutely will. I appreciate you helping out with that. John Mendoza. I actually do not have a copy of Number Games right now because I took it with me to Seattle last time I was there, and somebody must have stuck it out of my bag. Maybe the guy was even pouring lighter fluid on everything, but by the end of the day, somehow my book had come out of my bag, so I actually have no copy of my own book right now. But again, shout out to Modoc Roughstock. Shout out to John Mendoza. Mendoza says he is grateful to have found the work. Glad you did, and thank you for always being so supportive, John. And then Sage Unknown, I have a feeling that's who just called us. He's a student down at the campus. It was nice to hear from a student at the campus. And Tropes says, do you think Legos is a connection to the Masons? Sure, because the Masons are builders, Legos are building blocks. And finding out that the founder of Legos died in 50, I don't have to look deeper into that. Freemasonry in 58. Legos and Gematria 58. Shout out to JBird83. Chris reminded us that Grand Theft Auto equals 74 in light of Part 6, the trailer for that coming out, and it being 74 months after Tom Petty's death, who died the day after the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. So, yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, I was looking at the history of the Grand Theft Auto games, and I did see that the very first ever Grand Theft Auto did release on November 28th, the day leaving 33 days left in the air. Of course, Rockstar equals 33, what makes the game. And then Chris with another super chat, so appreciate it. We raised $45 tonight before their cut, but do appreciate the support and generosity. And, you know, to give somebody a shout out, RPM Trey Vietnam, I saw that tonight he made his announcement that he's got merchandise available. If you guys know, RPM Trey came out and pounded pavement with us in Oklahoma City. He met up with some of the truth seekers down in Dallas. And he does the Hug an AR campaign. Hug an AR owner campaign. Stands out on the corner. He's got the Hug an AR owner sign. Has his AR. He's in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, if you ever want to join him. But he's just trying to show, you know, people that don't be afraid of gun owners. That's what the media is trying to do to you. But us gun owners, we're not bad people. A lot of us, we just want to protect others, including ourselves. So, if you want to check out his page, RPM Trey Vietnam, go to the community tab, and then his top pinned post on the community tab is where you can get the gear. So, he's got it going. Yeah, I think that's it for tonight, Truth Seeker. And Selena, thanks for the laughs, but you're out of here. Can you imagine somebody in a COVID mask being taken seriously by anyone in this community? You don't belong here. Sorry, this is for people who are awake and not dumbasses. We don't wear slave muzzles. We don't bark out ridiculous things and tell people to donate to the modern day Knights Templar fraud scam on top of every contrived tragedy. The Red Cross right there for every scam on humanity. Send us your money and read the fine print, because none of it's going to even make none of it's going to make it to the destination that you think you're sending it for. Oh boy, these trash people. Carolyn Goodman, the name of the mayor, 66. Stephen Paddock, the name of the Vegas shooter, 66. Again, the campus just turned 66 years old at UNLV. It's 66 days after the anniversary of Route 91 Harvest Festival. Mass shooting is 66. Same old patterns over and over. Yeah, that is true, 208. That is true. All right, well, we'll leave it there for tonight. Again, you guys, if you do want to see me out at the Super Bowl this year, down in LA for the Kobe Bryant statue unveiling, again, they really are things that I need to be out there for, speaking out about and waking people up to and gathering the crowds that we can. But I'm going to need, for all of you guys who stopped supporting, again, I'm going to have to find more people to pledge $1, because it's just sweet lady. It's not gonna fly with her right now. You guys, she's gonna say like, well, why, Zach? Why? Look at how far down your support is since you started traveling all over the place. You know, it just makes me anxious. So, again, way more people should be supporting this work, you guys. We have the most amazing information in the truth community that there ever was, and more people need to receive it, because it's the thing that can change a lot of people's minds and make the light bulb switch on, and people see the forest for the trees for the first time. So, again, thank you to everyone who does support, and thank you to everyone who will hear the call and support. Hopefully you're out there. Oh, look, the trolls are in the chat. No, they haven't been off for 2 years, buddy. We just hit a nice 50-1 future on the World Series. Get with the times. And it wasn't the first one we hit this year either. Even though we haven't had our best years the last 2 years, we still hit way more futures than anybody else has. And you know it's true. So, we'll leave it there for now. And until next time.